Grace and peace, grand rising, mindful Monday today. And we have a good topic, I would say. It could be a little controversial, but we're going to jump in. Also want to salute my Lotus, who came in the building. We want to give her birthday blessings. Good morning, grand rising, blessings to our little sis who's just celebrated a solar return this past weekend. So I will also be dropping the link, and we can have this dialogue going back and forth today. Also be aware and be noted that any personal readings you want are now open. You guys can go to my website, and actually you can go into the YouTube and hit the link, and it'll take you right into the website, so you can book personal readings now. For those who've had personal readings, there's a few changes. I kind of like really narrowed it down to, I believe it's a 5-card spread, romance. Did I do an oracle? I think there's like 3 things now. I had 5 things up, but I kind of narrowed it down. So if you're looking for the ancestral, I took that out. I might put that back in, depending on how, I will do the past life ancestral reading if it's requested. But for the most part, I took it off of my, the listing of readings that you would like to have. So right now it's just, let me go into my YouTube really quickly, guys. Hold on a second. Let me, yeah, okay. So good. So the other topic, I'm trying to get my mind straight because I was running all over the place this morning, just getting myself together. And, it's Monday. My family, my kids are getting ready for school and work and things like that. So anyway, just bear with me. So if you want to book personal readings, you can go ahead and click the link in the Instagram. Not in the Instagram, but on Instagram as well, Foxy Moon _ Spiritual Alchemist. You can go there on my IG page and you can book personal readings through that. Or just hit me up in the DM that you're interested in getting a reading done. Or go into the YouTube and hit the link, and it'll send you straight directly into the website, so you can go ahead and book your readings. I know, some people have been anxious. I have made some house calls, if you will. My pink sugar's in the building. That's right. Fire's up. She's ready. I know she's waiting. She has been waiting. My Pinkalicious. So yes, the website is up. I did it on Friday. I had a few kinks in there. So if you have some problems with booking the reading, please hit me up on IG and let me know. We can do readings off of IG if there's a problem with you getting into the website, because I did do some things that, unbeknownst to me, I changed it. Long story. Creating a website is not easy, especially if you're doing it by yourself. It is not easy. But it's rewarding because you're putting in your labor of love as opposed to you having somebody to do it for you. So I kind of like, manpowering by myself. So no problems. But let me know, guys, if you have any issues with getting into the website and booking a reading. As I said before, I've cut off a couple of services out, so there's no past life readings. But if you want to, please send me a message in IG letting me know that, or on YouTube letting me know that you would like to have a past life reading. But I'm really sticking with traditionals as far as romance, and doing the 5-card spread, which is basically everything included. So it's romance, finance, health, whatever comes to mind. And I did put an oracle card in there. So that's one service that I left, that if you're just interested in just getting your feet wet with readings, you can go ahead and do a book, just a 1-card reading. It's an oracle reading, and this kind of gets people familiar with what a reading looks like. Some people are a little intimidated. Some people don't understand what that all means. So besides, before you go ahead and book like a 5-card spread or a romance spread, you could book a oracle reading with me. All right. So with that being said, I'm not going to take up too much time with that. Just letting you know that on 11/11/2022, the calendar is open now, so you guys could go ahead and book readings with me. And the prices have changed a little bit. It's still under, I think it's $40 and $45. So I didn't really change too much. The oracle reading was $11.11, so now it's $5.55. So it's $5.55. It's about that change. So that's the only difference. I did change the price a little bit, but they weren't that much. It was still under $45, under $50. So it's, I'm reasonably priced. All right. So anyway, today's topic on Mindful Monday, I have the title, The Road to El Dorado. So if some of us are not familiar, I'm going to drop the link in a little bit, but I wanted to just read my notes and disclaimer, fair use. The article that I got the information from is called Discovery, www.discoverymagazine.com. All right. So copyright, fair use. Also some good news on November 10th, last Thursday. Word got out that Dr. MUTULU Shakur will be released from prison very soon, and he'll be home in December. So y'all know how I feel about Dr. Shakur, and especially Tupac, his stepson. But if you read his history and you understand what this man was doing and why he's become a political prisoner for 35 years and now dying. So basically they're giving him a mercy, medical mercy release, because he is dying from like 3-stage cancer or something like that. I'm not sure if it's stomach cancer or pancreatic cancer. He also has, he's had a bone marrow. He's needed to have a bone marrow transplant. And I believe that he has gotten hepatitis C, and also has gotten stricken with the coronavirus while being incarcerated. So he's 72 years old now. His body's deteriorated a lot. I'm sure his mind has gone a little bit as well. So they're just letting him basically, die at home. Hopefully, his life can be spared a little bit longer. And, medical treatment, holistic. He was an acupuncturist, so he was about that life. I don't want to talk too much about Dr. Shakur, but because that's not today's topic, but I wanted to just mention him, give him an honorable mention that, this man was healing heroin addicts here in the Bronx and in Harlem, New York City, back in the early 80s. And he went up to Canada to get his doctrine and license to become an acupuncture therapist. Because holistically, he was trying to listen. We know that our vets were coming back home, pumped up with heroin, opiates, allegedly. And Dr. Shakur and Feeney Shakur and the rest of the Black Panthers, who weren't Black Panthers at that point in time, they had started a new coalition. And this was to help the, Black and Hispanic men that were coming home from the Vietnam War. And they were, hooked on, drugs. And so, instead of going the government route and being on methadone to get them off this other drug, Dr. Shakur did holistic remedies, and he did acupuncture. So, it's not just talking to the people and, conjugating and how we're going to get things working. He was a man of action. Excuse me. He was at his time, because he hasn't transitioned yet. But at his prime, he was a man of action. And so was Afeni Shakur. So was Asada Shakur, Geronimo Pratt. Mumia Jamal is still a prisoner inside Pennsylvania penitentiary. So the list goes on. You guys know them. You know, you could read more about them because these were our heroes during the 70s and the 80s. So I wanted to give them that. Also, we have our lovely Lotus, my beautiful Lotus, moderator extraordinaire, who just celebrated a soul return over the weekend. So we want to give her her flowers here. I appreciate her. I mean, I can't stop thanking her. I don't think I could ever repay her with the amount of time and dedication that she has given to this channel, our channel, because it's all of ours. And so, you know, so today we want to lift her up and celebrate her and her achievements that she's been going through here as well on the YouTube streets. And if you guys, if Lotus, you want to drop your information as far as where they can send some love blessings, please do that, because we want to honor you, you know, whatever the donation can be. You know, guys, we're here to uplift our beautiful Lotus because she sends so much positive affirmations and healing words in the chat that it's gotten people like my beautiful Miss Sharon and Purple Moon, that she receives Lotus's blessings, Brother Maybach. So, you know, so please give your shout outs to our beautiful Lotus Bomb. I'm going to put the link in a little bit. Let me just read some stuff. And Lotus, if you can pop up here for a little bit and, you know, let us celebrate you for a moment. Beauty Queen is in the building. I see you. Another one. I love you guys. We got the woman showing up today, so we holding it down for a little bit. All right. So why I came up with this topic, right? It's Stolen Riches, Road to El Dorado. Some of us may or may not know what the road to El Dorado or so El Dorado is a fictitious name for an area in South America, mainly Mexico or Venezuela. Where is this also? Colombia, all the top parts of South America, where you had these Europeans coming over here and in search of the riches and the golds that the Mesoamericans or the Caribbeans. I'm not going to even talk about the Caribbeans today, but it may come up. And how they were going to the Caribbeans and stealing gold. But I want to put us into a mind frame because I've been on a lot of thought-provoking channels this past week. One panel, somebody in the chat, and it was a guy, and I was the only female on the panel, or excuse me, woman. And some dude was in the chat like, oh, she needs to shush her mouth. She needs to sit in her place. Let the men talk. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Because they don't understand that they get wise counsel from wise women. I don't know about him, but apparently he didn't sit at his mother or his grandmother or his aunt's feet getting some wisdom. I didn't respond back. I let him clamor on because he wasn't saying anything too negative towards me, but he was trying to make me intimidated by saying, oh, she needs to shut her mouth. She needs to sit in her place. Let the men talk. And I wasn't interrupting them, but I had to calm them down because the men were kind of like, you know, when they start this knowledge talk, it's like, all right, hold it down a second. Everybody wants to fluff their feathers and fluff their, you know, their brain cells and talk over one another. And sometimes you need a woman in there to referee a little bit. It wasn't my panel at all, but I wanted to get in, you know, some of my words. And I stood back. You know, I don't need to keep talking. I don't really, unless it's my platform, I'm gonna talk. But, you know, respectfully, I'm on somebody else's, and I'm mindful of the time frame and other people that need to get on and talk. Homeboy. All right. So this is, if you want to drop some flower bombs to our beautiful Lotus. This is where you can. All right, it's a birthday celebration. She's been in other chats, and she has other channels, and she's been holding it down. But she's mine. She's my moderator extraordinaire. So I'm very territorial, but I don't, I have a problem with sharing, but I get it. We gotta, she's mine. So anyway, I'm going to read a little bit of this article. It's a little lengthy, guys. Stay with me if you can. All right. It's just because a lot of people now, especially the melanated folk, the Black and Latinos, especially, or the brown and whatever, Kanye, I thought he was going to leave social media for a while. Apparently he's still talking. And so as much as I don't want to talk about him, you can't help it, because when you scroll, somebody else is bringing up what Kanye said. Now, why I brought this conversation up today is because people are in search of wanting to know who they are and where they come from, right? For me, it never really was an issue growing up in my household. But I understand that, especially if you want to say Black Americans, and we really need to get away from these words, but we are using them because this is what government has labeled some of us, right? And I had mentioned this, I believe, a year ago, as far as, or maybe less than that, as far as claiming your tribe, knowing who your tribe is. And now it's coming into fruition, because now people are really trying to, cleave to, they're finding out, we're Black Israels, or we're, Moors, or we're, Blackfoot or Taino or Arawak, whatever is the name for the day. We're Cherokee. So I had to go back in time a little bit, because some people, there's this narrative that's been going on for as long as I've been learning. So that's about 41 years, that we all came out of Africa. And I'm not here to disrespect that, but I'm also here to shine light on, we didn't all come from over there. And the argument is that civilization actually was here in the Americas. So that's your South America, your Caribbean incorporated, North America, and Canada. It's all, if you want to look at it, it's really just two continents. There have been invisible lines to separate us, called states and country lines. But not too long ago, Mexico was still part of the so-called United States territory. And while we want to find fascination in ancient Kemet, and listen, I was all about that life as well. I'm not, and I still I'm fascinated by it. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the reincarnation of Isis. It's more of a glorification, right? When we start thinking and we hear about, the pharaohs or the kings out in Africa, Egypt. And I'm going to get to that, because truth be told, the ancient Egypt was here in the States. Now, I'm going to sound, as they call it, pseudo and spooky. See, and some people, like, if I challenge that, because I'm asking some guys, like, who told you that you was an Israelite? Who told you that? Who told you was a Muslim? Who told you that you were a Christian? That you're a Catholic? Who told you that? And this guy, he was an Israeli Muslim. And I'm like, how does that even happen? How does that happen? Who told you that you were that? And I wasn't trying to be facetious. I really want to understand some of these things that we're being told who we are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, I'm going to drop the link in a minute. I want to read this, but I want to get us warmed up to to this article, because it's almost annoying me that we're being closed-minded once again. So here you have a Kanye talking about, you know, the blacks were the true Israelites, and then Kyrie talking about that similar stuff. Now they have this book or this movie called, what is it, Hebrews to Negroes? I don't know. I'm not getting into that whole propaganda again, because once again, they're redirecting us back into what they call Africa. And Africa was just named, this continent was named, but there's countries inside of it. And not all of the countries are all on accord with, they don't even agree with some of the stuff that's been told to them about the pharaohs and stuff like that. And some of them out there in that continent still practice spirituality, which was what you call the original religion. Now, so when I was sitting here spinning my wheels, because I was watching a program on YouTube that was talking about the pyramids, or the mounds, if you will, in, I think it's Cholula, Mexico. It's one of the highest mounds, but there's a Catholic church sitting on top of it. But when they unearthed some of the material, they saw that that was what we would call a pyramid. It's not as high as the pyramid in Giza, Egypt, or Giza, but it's wider. And it's older than the pyramids out in what they call Egypt now. So I started pontificating and getting downloads. And I love to be on other people's panels or just listening in the chats that people talk about this kind of stuff. It's very intriguing. Because all along we've been taught about the pharaohs. Oh, and I'm getting to the road to El Dorado, because we saw that in their tombs they had all kinds of gold. Where did they get that gold? Where did they get that gold? That's right, pontificate. Because we have that, Gina with the big words. Because we got to sound intelligent here, you know, because we could talk that talk, but we got to sound like we got some sense in our head, right? So I was pondering and pontificating and getting downloads. And I'm like, so those pyramids were full of gold. Where else was full of gold at? Oh, I know, Mexico. Oh, I know, the Caribbeans. So I'm going to bring us back in time before the so-called slave trade. And I'm going to reroute us back to the Americas. Remember that civilization was here as well. Like brother, the Honorable Minister Malcolm X said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. I said that to somebody in the panel. They're like, oh, here she go. Make it make sense though, for real. Let's think about this. So we have civilization here already. It might not have been civilized to where those Europeans were, but there was a intelligent civilization going on here in the Americas. They were agriculturists, they were scientists, they were astrologers, they were teachers, they were priests and priestess, healers. All right. So here's the article again, if you want to look it up. It's at www.discovery magazine. Shout out to the nerds, because you know I'm a nerd at heart. I would say I'm what you call an amateur historian. So some of my stuff, what I say, maybe there's some truth to it, but I don't know the complete whole story. And then I'm like, who do we turn to for the complete story? Because some of our elders in this, what you want to call the conscious community, have been saying the same thing that their white counterparts have been saying. Everything points back to Africa. I have this sneaky suspicion, guys, and you know I can tap in, right? We tap into that instinct and that spirituality. Ooh, Larry Beach is in the building. Salute, salute. So it'll sound pseudo, as they say. The Americas are the land of milk and honey. And these Europeans that came over here ravished our gold, our resources. Listen, the black obsidian is found here. Where's my black obsidian? The oldest of the gemstones found here, Colorado, Arizona, that the natives were using this and sharpening them. Mexico, that they were sharpening these obsidians and putting it at the tip of a stick. So now it became a sharp instrument to go hunting with. The black obsidian. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Is that out there is it out there in Africa? Now it probably is, because we've been exporting stuff out there. www.discoverymagazine.com. Let's get this fair use in really quickly. I said it before, but hold on. Because I've been good. I've been watching, we got to watch our step here. So fair use, okay. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal, use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So that was our Fair Use Act disclaimer. All right. And we're celebrating our beautiful Lotus today because over the weekend, Friday, was it Friday or Saturday, Lotus? She celebrated her solar return. So we're here today and we want to celebrate her as well. Let her know that we are here with her, in spirit and in physical and in virtual, to give her her flowers, to give her love and her blessings today. And if you're feeling moved by that, and you're loving some Lotus, you can send a little donation out to her, a love blessing, and I will put that up here. All right. So let's get into this. Today, El Dorado is in the name of an actual city in Kansas. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. So El Dorado, right? So El Dorado is kind of like this mythical term in regards to some Europeans, the Spaniards, Portuguese, and the British were in search of gold, resources. And so I didn't read anything too much about it. So the term or the coin is they were in search of the road to El Dorado. All right. So my title is Road to El Dorado, but stolen riches. So in modern day right now, in Kansas of the United States of America, there's a city in Kansas named El Dorado. All right. So now we're going back in time. Pay attention, because I need us to be little smart cookies in here, and keep these dates in mind, these years in mind, because we're going to try to now make it make sense for when we're talking about Africa, modern day Africa. From roughly AD 600 to 1600, from roughly AD 600 to 1600, the I want to say Muisca, it's Muisca. Muisca people inhabited what is now modern day Colombia. All right. Where's Colombia? Just over from the Panama Canal, right? We're all still connected. Concentrated around what would have become the city of Bogota, and the advanced civilization, and this advanced civilization likely inspired the legend of El Dorado. So this is a legend, guys. The name El Dorado is their legend. But I just said advanced civilization. The Muisca population were an advanced civilization. In what? AD 600 to 1600. Now, they weren't advanced, they weren't what we would call civilized, wearing boots and Prince shirts and a hat, but they knew how to make things happen. All right. During the 16th century, keep that in mind, guys, 16th century, legends of a golden city spread through Europe, especially after the discovery of the Aztecs and the Inca empires. Okay. Remember the timeline. Remember the slavery story. Remember those years that they're telling us. We're going to dot these lines together. Ooh. JBJ is in the building. Salute, salute. Where my girls at? We right here. We right here. That's right, Lotus. Raz Girl. Yep. Lost City of Gold. All right. So let's repeat that. During the 1600s, or the 16th century, the legends of a golden city spread through Europe, especially after the discovery of the Aztecs and the Incan empires. I'm sorry. Does that sound like little Spears people living in huts and Spears? Listen, they try to make these our ancestors sound like ancestors and people of today in modern Africa. These people were intelligent. They just weren't book savvy. No one told them that they were Israelites. No one told them that they're Methodist. No one told them that they're Muslim. These people were using logic, resources, and spirit to move and do things in their civilization, in their empire. All right. Sparking the imaginations of explorers like Sir Walter Raleigh and Francisco Vélez de Coronado. Listen to this. These are two explorers. One is from Britain. The other one, I believe, is from Spain. All right. They're still Europeans. They remember that they use these Hispanic sounding names. These are still Europeans. They're not what you would call the Tainos or the Arawaks of the Caribbean. These people came over here, did damage control, pillaged, and did dastardly things to these women that they then give you these last names: Velasquez, Lopez, Rodriguez. That's not your name. So when Malcolm X said, I don't go by the name Malcolm Little. That was what the slave owners named my family. I don't know what my last name is. Continue. The Iska people were well known for their skilled craft, especially when it came to carving gold. Gold was valuable because of its association with the sun god Zu, Z-U-E. Remember that these people, oh, who does that sound like? Akhenaten, the sun pharaoh? What time frame was this? Okay. We're going to put some pieces together. It may not all stick, but we're going to try to make this make sense for us today, because I'm really like, listen, no, again, no disrespect to the modern day Africans or, you know, that continent. But I was born here. I can count back 3 generations that were born here, but they're coming from the Caribbean. Jamaica, Cuba, Grenada. I could tap back into that family history as well. And then going back into Europe, England. I know my genealogy, and I'm getting more and more every time I meet with my grandaunt. So don't get hoodwinked into other people telling you who you is. You better know who you are. Speak to your elders, speak to cousins. If you're not talking to anybody, I don't know how that's going to help, but do some genealogy. If you kind of remember or heard where your family's from, I would do that research. If you can't get family or close family friends, try to pinpoint where you remember someone saying where they were born at, and start from there. Now, if they were born in the Caribbean, it's kind of harder because they did a lot of crazy stuff with, you know, our families' birth certificates, especially in Puerto Rico. And if it's overseas, like in England or Scotland, they keep records as well. So you would have to check back with their birth certificate, marriage certificate, or their death certificate. All right. All right, let's go back to the article. So gold was valuable because of its association with the sun god Zu, Z-U-E, one of their most important gods. So the sun god was important, but guess what? So was the water god, the earth, the wind, right? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overthinking things. Okay. So I put a little star next to certain things that that was very like interesting more to me. And so during this time, gold was not used for currency. I'll repeat, gold was not used for currency at this time, but rather for art. And they use for masks, jewelry, and other specialties. What does that sound like, guys? Does that sound like the pharaoh? Who was it? Tutankhamun? The gold face mask, his death mask. I have to get this ancient Egypt Kemet book. And I forgot to bring it here into my room. Because if anybody knows when these pharaohs, first of all, they were found in the early 1900s. We didn't know anything about no pharaohs prior to that. Nobody was talking about that. They were talking about the road to El DoRado. All right. So during this time, they didn't use gold as currency. They used it more for art, like face painting, masks, etc. Much of the golden art created by I keep messing their name up because I want to say Musica, but it's not Musica. It's Muisca people was used in burial. The art that these people created was used in burial ceremonies and has since found in tombs. Oh, I'm sorry. Where does that sound like? That's right, Lotus. That sounds like King Tut. That these people here were using the gold in burial ceremonies. Come on, we got to make it make sense. Love and loyalty's in the building. Salute, salute. Good to see you. I saw you yesterday. Salute. That's right. All right. The European thirst for gold and riches it was so strong, especially in Spain and England. Remember, I just gave you those names. We got Sir Raleigh, Walter Raleigh was one explorer, and we had Francisco Vasquez de Coronado as the Spaniard. These people were thirsty to get the gold over here. All right. And they went to war that had sent expeditions to uncharted lands of the Americas during the mid to late 16th century. When did this so-called Atlantic slave trade happen, guys? Because we got to put these dates together, because we can't just talk off the top of our head. We got to make some dates stick here. And I don't have that Egyptian book. I'm gonna go get it though, because we gotta make this make sense. These people out in England and Spain were going to war. Your friend Francis Drake also was one of these explorers that was under Queen Elizabeth I in the 1500s, that wanted an expedition here to get from over there to come here and get the gold, the booty. When did slavery happen? When was it documented again? Slavery from the Ivory Coast of Africa to the Americas? When was that happening? 17, 1800, 19? But we're talking about the 1500s. Okay. Mid to the late 16th century. All right. So that's still 100 years prior to the slave trade. Raleigh, remember his name, he's one of the explorers, thought the gold was hidden in the cities of either Manoa or Amagua. I could be pronouncing these wrongs. I'm not great with pronunciation. Which was rumored to be in modern day Venezuela or Brazil. And after the falling out of favor with Queen Elizabeth I, Raleigh attempted to find the lost city of El Dorado and bring its riches back to England in 1595. Yeah, the booty. Pirate booty. Okay, thank you. Red illusion. That's why we need people here. Thank you. Because we need to connect the dots, because I don't want to sound pseudo and I don't want to make it sound far-fetched, but we got to connect some dots here to make it make sense, because they keep feeding us King Tut, Akhenaten, Ramses, but we didn't know about them until the British did their expedition out there. And then they brought it back to England, and then they brought it back over to the Americas. So you see, things have been going back and forth. It's not just this one whole big slave trade and everything. They came over here. But, in grade school, this is what was taught to me. I didn't know until just last weekend that New York City had ended their slavery, or abolished their slavery, July 4th, 1896. Gee, that's kind of recent. New York City? How about slavery was still going on in the 1950s? People were still picking cotton down south. All right, I'm going to drop the link, guys. I'm going to drop the link. I just want to read this off really quickly. What? Psych L. Oh my God, salute. I need you up here because you know these things. I don't want to sound all pseudo and cuckoo. I know a little something about a little something. I'm not like I told these fellas on the panel before, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I like to make some sense out of what I'm learning. And I want people to teach me so that I can then teach others, because we keep getting fed a bunch of lies. We got somebody out here talking about he's the Black Hebrew Israelite and then leaves it like that. Now he's talking about everybody else, we're all in the same gang. He's talking about Hollywood and all that stuff again. Listen, I knew he was going to flake out, but he has a big mouth and a platform to stand on and spew out these things that people are listening. And it's a good thing that Kanye is saying these things, because it's ruffling people up to say, oh, gee, let me do some research and see what this Israelite is all about. But those who are older than, and Kanye actually, I thought he was a lot younger than me. I didn't realize he's just a year under me. He's 45. You sounded like you're 25, and even my 24-year-old is looking at Kanye like, nah, you're not it, bro. It's not it. All right. Let's continue. 16th century, right? So what did Beauty Queen say? 1600 Spanish, Dutch, right. And then they went over, right, to Africa to do their colonization. That's right, Lotus. That shit. Listen, and then he's got a Pisces moon. That man is all emotional. All right, let's continue. Let's not get sidetracked. All right, so Riley, remember this is Sir Walter Riley, who's under the British, crown, Elizabeth I. We're talking about 1595. He's out here trying to, now we're going to talk Ebonics. He's out here trying to go and capitalize, right? Come out here and get the booty, get the riches, so he can say he was the first to do it and be rewarded by Queen Elizabeth I, who's a Tudor, Henry Tudor's daughter. I love me some Tudors. I definitely have a lot of books on them. I dive into them. I think somewhere, maybe if it's Gematria or I don't know, maybe there is some DNA. Those people, I believe I have something to do with them. I like them. I like me some Henry Tudor. I understand him as a Cancer. I understand why he was, looking for love in all the wrong places. He needed to solidify his lineage. And listen, if you can't do the job, off with your head. Henry Tudor. All right. Okay, another key point that I had starred next to. Other Europeans like Coronado was the governor of New Gallica, which is northern Mexico, in 1538. He heard rumors of the 7 cities of gold. Remember, we're keeping these dates in mind. 1538. His expedition took him across most of what is now the southwestern U.S. Because remember, the U.S. has what? The Americas have, we got the same thing down south, and I'm talking about South America, right? Turquoise. We got the same things they do, because it's all really one continent. It just with shifts and tectonic plates moving, they spread it apart. But it's all the Caribbean islands. They're all stuck in between South America and North America. That's why people are going to Haiti, and they went out there and started digging. All right, Bahamas, because those land masses were all connected to the South and North Americas. So they got the same golden riches that these two continents have. We've always had that. But those Europeans didn't know too much about Africa, right? They were heading out this way because they were hearing rumors about gold and resources, food. I'm gonna get to the food in a minute. All right. So again, his expedition took him across most of what is now the southwestern USA. What is that? Texas. What is that? Louisiana. What is that? Alabama. All right. Took him across most of what is now the now famous geological features. Any villages that he came across, or they came across because he was doing an expedition, contained no gold. Most of the villages he came across were home of the Zuni people, Z-U-N-I. These are people that were here or in the south of the United States, southwestern part of the United States, right? These were the Zuni people. They're skilled craftsmen, artists, and farmers. Coronado was cruel to the indigenous people he encountered, killing them outright or destroying their food sources so they would starve, and forcing his way into their cities. Mm-hmm. What does Red say? Right. Right. There was a race. This is where we get the race part. And Red, if you can, what because where we get the word race and racism, or even else, psych L, Maybach's in the building. Salute. If you good brothers could help me out, I'm gonna drop the link so y'all can come up if you can. But help me out, because these dates are sounding very pertinent, if you will, right? So that I'm trying to connect the dots to how we all were out of Africa, or the new Africa. Because people are out here really trying to find themselves. They want to know who they came from, where they came from. They want to know if you were Israelite. They want to know if you're a Muslim, if you are Arawak, if you are Cherokee, if you are a Dakota, a Lakota. Who are you? What are you? These people came over here and twisted up all that with their little language. We just heard now that this Coronado, who's from Spain, did to the indigenous people living here, killing them and destroying their food sources so that they would starve. It wasn't until Coronado had reached modern day Kansas. We got Coral Springs out there, right? Where are the Coral Springs? Utah. We have our own resources. We are the milk and honey here. South America, the Caribbean, North America, Canada. So Canada is all connected to North America. It wasn't until then that he reached modern day Kansas that he realized that the story of the 7 cities of gold was a ploy to get him and his men out of the native territory. The expedition had nearly robbed him of all his money, because he had to put this money up to go pillage and steal resources from these lands. So he had to put up some money for these expeditions. And he was removed from the governorship. Queen Elizabeth I was like, you're not bringing me back anything. Goodbye. Explorers in search of the city were able to map new areas of the Amazon rainforest and the southwestern USA, and finding new foods like potato, which was found and brought to to Europe. Remember, I talked about food a little while ago. They say the Irish is big on potatoes. Where do you think they got potatoes from? Where do you think they got corn from? Your sugar canes, Grenada. I'm coming to find out that Actually, all the rums and stuff were made here in New York City. And these people did a damn spell on us. And this is what's, ooh, Jay Savage is in the building. This is what's pissing me off, guys. This is what's making me passionate about, listen, we got to dive a little deeper, because we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled, as Brother Minister Malcolm X said, that they're doing this casting and recasting again. And they sent this agitator out here to talk about, well, actually, we Black Israelites. So now you got people in search of Israelites. Okay, that's great. It's a religion. It's a way of life in the religion. But if you like our ancestors who were of the land and praise the sun, the water, the earth, who told these people that they were Muslims when they were coming off the ship? Because now we're going to go back to slavery time. Who told these people that, were they talking Hebrew when they came off the ships? Or were they talking Hebrew here? People were talking their own language. We don't know what it was. Some of us do. There are some people, I'm sure, that know what the language was. Listen, that's 600 AD. But where are you getting your information from? Oh boy, A-Boy is in the building. Haven't seen you. Salute. Thank you. All right. North Andes Muisca territory also had a few giants. There we go. See, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about some intelligent people. Red is very intelligent. This is why I have to sit here and listen. And he's younger. So don't get, just because somebody's younger, that they don't know things. These guys are out here doing that research. And they're more in depth than I am, but I listen. I'm a student. I want to hear things. This is what I did with my elders. I sat at their feet. Children are seen and not heard. You listen. You don't speak. So it's the same thing right now. This is what I'm doing. I want to know some things. All right. In closing, guys, because now I'm in closing and I digress, and I'm going to open the panel up. But be mindful when you come on the panel about what you're saying, because YouTube is out here, and as small as my little platform is, if we can get to 300, I'd be so happy. Thank you. Send this out to everybody that you can. But I don't want any strikes. I already got a little warning about something that happened back in April. I don't want to be shadow banned. I think Maybach was saying something about notifications and things like that. I'm like, really? They doing notifications stuff on me? Little old me? Yeah, little old you. They're watching everybody. So be mindful when you come onto people's platforms, what you say, certain words you can't say, certain words you have to, shift up a little bit, right? Because we can't talk about that. We can't say the heart attack on women, right? We have to use that different word. Okay. So we got to be careful. All right. So in closing, there were three kingdoms, empires. That doesn't sound like savage people running around here, although they might have done some savage shit. But these people were far from what the others were looking at, like, ooh, they're not savage. They're savages. They're uncivilized. They're not walking around here with Prince shirts and hats on with feathers in it and some knee-high boots. When y'all weren't taking baths like that. So how are you going to tell? All right, never mind. I'm being petty. All right, so in closing, there were three kingdoms, the Muisca, the Incas, and the Aztecs. All right, they all have been found with wealth in gold and resources. There is also the possibility that indigenous groups and Europeans used rumors of El Dorado to keep the interested parties out of certain areas. i.e. shifting the word, shifting stories around to deter them out. And this is what then they go now to India, East India, right? And they go to Africa because they were getting tired of being misled by the indigenous people here in the Americas and not being able to find, these riches, these produce, and so forth. And this is what's now turning them around to go to other continents in the world to now do their damage there. And this is why we have, the colonization in India. We have colonizations in certain countries, or most countries in Africa, what we call modern day Africa, because my understanding now to that, what Africa was known in ancient times was Akibalan. That's what I'm saying. Listen, there's some very intelligent melanated people out here in these YouTube streets, and I appreciate that, because all I was listening to growing up were European men, and we took their word. I took their word as word. Their word was bond. But we got to dispel that now that we're older. As I was reading in scripture last week, as a child, I thought as a child, I played as a child, but now that I'm a man, all childish things end. All right, so that was that. And I'm going to now go ahead and open up the panel. Again, please be mindful with what you're saying. Try not to use too much F-bombs, even though I'm not monetized. But we want to speak with elegance, if you will. We want to speak with some intelligence. All right, Larry Appleseed. So salute again to everybody coming through. I appreciate you guys. Also, this is it's not the actual day of our Lotus, my moderator extraordinaire, but we're celebrating her today. We're giving her flowers. We are letting her know that she is appreciated. She has been holding me down for almost a year. But in any event, she's here, rain or shine, issues or no issues at home. And she stays hours with us, moderating. Now, I don't know about other panels, but that's a soldier for me, in my eyes. Because I can't even stay on, and moderate that long. I could if I could, but she does it. And so we want to give her her flowers today, and let her know that she is very much so appreciated. All right. So anybody wants to jump in right now, they can, and discuss what was just read to them. Okay, Larry, come through when you can. I got some old school people here. Yeah, Jay, you lies. I had to throw some color in. Put some color in. I see you guys are silly. Let me scroll up, because if anybody finds it in their little heart, they can send Lotus a little love blessing to her. Let me just find that and pin it. I'm gonna have to all right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in a banner. Hold on. Lotus, put your information in again for us, because I'm gonna put it in the banner. I gotta scroll up all the way to the beginning of the comments. Put that in banner. All right, so the floor is open, guys. But and if I'm not making it make sense, please let me know. We're here to teach one, reach one, and carry the information on, because for too long we've been hearing about stuff going on in Africa, and that's great. And we've been cleaving to that. We've been like, yeah, people are calling themselves Amun Ra, and they all about that ancient Kemet. But I don't know, because it's like some people want to claim themselves to be, Egyptian and, Ethiopian and things like that. And I'm like, when you do your history, they're not true Africans either. If you want to put yourself in the tribe of Judah, the lost tribe of Israel, this is what the whole Israelite thing is. Some of them are not Africans. They're coming from, if it's 12 tribes, that's 12 brothers that married into other ethnicities. They didn't all keep it in the family. So you got all different shades of people, complexions. So I don't know, guys. It makes me lost. I'm like, is it me? I mean, what? Like, I don't, I'm not trying to wrap my head around it too much. I'm trying to make it make sense, but reading what I just read, right, and hearing about, now I heard about the Road to Elder, they made a Disney movie out of it and stuff like that, but I didn't even watch it. But what I'm saying is I knew about our riches here, but I'm trying to now correlate the time frame and see, how this slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade, because people were getting on ships and going over across the seas as well. And the biggest was during that period of 1700s, or I believe it was the 1700s, but they brought the Africans from there over here, and then they did what they needed to do, and then the Africans went back. They were able to be released and go back home. And then in the 1800s, that's where you get the real devil of the story, that it was the harsh slavery. And this is where you see the stories of the gates in Africa. I think it's in Benin or Ghana, that have the port of where, the ancestors were taken and then brought across the Atlantic. So there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of layers. So for us to really sit here and be like, oh yeah, we're all, Africans. Nah, man, no. And I was riding that coat wave, and I was riding it because I was hearing other people. My family didn't talk like that though. They never said you're African. They never said your family was slaves. Jamaica was so-called free 100 years before the Americas were. So, they weren't thinking like this. So, of course, like when my great-grandparents were born, they weren't told about slavery like that. And if they were, they didn't talk about it. So when they came to America for that better opportunity financially, they just came as immigrants, but then they became nationalized citizens. And did the damn thing. They paid their taxes. They raised their children. They were Christian people. They went to their church on Sundays. They did their, Bible studies on Wednesday. They sang in the choir. And that was it. In our church, we have just the cross. We don't got saints. The only ritual we're doing is communion on first Sunday. But we're not praying to all other things. And so when the spirit or spiritualist people, they, or indigenous, the way of life and having that religion in itself, that becomes, that's, especially in voodoo. Oh, that's wrong. It's bad. You don't understand it. And it's scary to you because you don't understand it. And that's why it's deemed demonic, evil, so forth and so on. But what about your rituals you do in the Catholic Church? I don't know. Well, apparently, supposedly, what is his name? Selassie, his Royal Majesty Selassie, or whatever his name is. I never could pronounce his name correctly. Left a little land for the children of God and Rastafari and stuff like that. And even if you think, like, I'm not trying to shoot shots at anybody's religion and stuff like that. Listen. But if you think about it, it was a group of men that Marcus Garvey, who was a Jamaican, so-called prophesized that there was going to be this black messiah, if you will, coming from the East. And from that point on, it took traction of almost 100 years later. I might be getting the timelines wrong. I mean, they even saying that the Royal Majesty is not even part of the Solomon bloodline. So you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much stuff out here that it's like, we really got to pick apart what's for real and what's not. What's Peter Pan syndrome? What's hocus pocus? Because y'all telling me this man who you now say is your prophet or whatever you want to call him, he wasn't even jiving with Rastafari. They took his name because his name was Rastafari before he became His Royal Majesty, right? So the Rastafarians took his name and incorporated it as Rastafarans. And when Haile Selassie, yes, and Menon, when he came over to Jamaica, he was like, I don't get what this is about. So I see you, Rascal. Hold on a second. He's like, I don't understand what y'all are doing, but okay. I mean, he was flattered nonetheless. So you got a group of men again. So we're under this patriarch. So remember who's giving you your religion, guys. Remember who's doing the indoctrination. It's not the indigenous people. Did the indigenous people go to other lands and do the colonization and say, you know, my spirit, my gods, the Sioux God is the only God? No. Hold on. Let me just go off really quickly. I'm going to grab my book, the Egyptian book that I want to correlate some time frames with and try to make this make sense. In the meantime, you know what, Rascal? I'm gonna have you come up here and you can kind of wing it with me because I'm gonna put myself on blank screen for a second. So you go ahead. If you
okay.
Birthday wishes.
Hey, Lotus. Happy Earth Strong to you, and salute to everybody in the chat. Y'all know I'm a Rasta. So Rastas are Christian. Or Emperor Haile Selassie was the emperor of Ethiopia from 1930 to about the 70s or something. So we looked at him as God in man form on earth. And the people of Jamaica were completely excited when he touched land. Supposedly there was a drought in the country or something. And then when he came, water and rain came and all of that good stuff. But just to say, the Rastas are Christian in faith. They do consider themselves somewhat of a Black Jewish faith in following those principles. But besides all of that, Foxy, I came up here to talk about your topic. I don't necessarily think that everybody is from Africa. Every Black person is from Africa, but to Kanye West and Kyrie Irving's argument, I do think that what they're saying holds some weight. And I think that if people don't know that history, then they should find out. Can you hear me, Foxy? Probably not. Anyhow, since I'm up here, I wanted to speak about being asemitic. When people talk about being asemitic, if we don't know, they say that it is being disrespectful to the Jewish faith. But to be Semitic is to speak a cluster or certain languages, and those languages were languages such as Hebrew, Arabic, Phoenician, Aramaic, all those different things, all those different languages that derived from this group of languages that they call Afro-Asiatic. So that means that these people or these languages came from Middle East or North Africa. And then there also was a time where they had black Germans in Germany, and those Germans were faced or had to deal with atrocities just like, you know, the quote unquote Nazis and Holocaust. But the thing is that I think we forget that they were black, they were in Germany, and Hitler actually wanted them, the black people, as well as the Slavic people, to be basically brutalized and put in you know, basically not here on this earth anymore. So if they were in Germany and they were from sub-Saharan tribes and they spoke languages of Phoenician dialect, or they spoke Egyptian languages, and if Egyptian language is one of the languages that's considered Afro-Asiatic, that's considered a Semitic language, then I don't really have any issue with people like Kanye and Kyrie saying what they believe in, because if you know the definition or the term, then can't nobody tell you that that's wrong. They said in Africa there were many languages, over 100 different languages. People didn't speak English, people didn't just speak Spanish. So if so many people spoke so many dialects, and if those dialects were Semitic, the Semites, Cushitic, Chadics, ancient Egyptian, if it was of those languages, then those people can consider themselves Semitic. So when he does make that statement of, I can't be anti-Semitic if my people are from there, maybe not all black people, but maybe his lineage, maybe his line or his family, if that makes sense.
Listen, I'm hearing you. That's why I'm like, I don't want to sit here and sound one-sided. Like, we need to be elevating each other and informing each other of what's out there, because for a long time it's this African diaspora, and you know, like I heard you explaining about you know, with Rastafarians, and it's coming from Christian, because how do you say his name? Selassie?
Yeah, Haile Selassie.
That's Roman Catholic. So you got to think, back then it was the Muslims, the Christians or Catholics, and then you had your Judaism, Hebrews, or is it? But see, what happens is, hold on, let me just get Lotus's information here. But what happens is that religion throws the monkey wrench into a lot of conversations that don't necessarily need to be put into. So,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because somebody was like, oh, so should we take religion? So you're saying don't speak about religion? I'm like, no, you know what? Keep it at home. You know why? Because we're at a point now where religion has costed us wars. We just heard these Christians, these Catholics, Queen Elizabeth I and her little henchmen, they came over here and were destroying indigenous people, humans. But you're Catholic, and that's supposed to be your brother, right? Brother, sister, mankind.
Yeah, I think religion is to keep people confined, to control people, and an excuse to do foul shit, like do
No, that's
horrible
okay. We
things.
just an F-bomb we can't be throwing out.
Yeah, it's an excuse for some people to do horrible things and then redirect it to their belief in God. And I think that, you know, in Rastafari we say when they say heaven and earth, to live on this earth as you would in heaven. So it's not the notion of, in religion you wait to die and get to heaven and have an afterlife. For us, it's about a way of life, like living a better life right now here on earth. You don't wait to the afterlife to do what's godly now. And I think people in religion take that for granted, laying on the bed saying, I mean, you know, forgive me. Laying on the bed saying, God, forgive my sins at that moment after they committed an atrocity of crimes and all of this and that in their life. Like, is it that easy to give your life over or repent or to be forgiven? I don't really know. I just hope that whatever it is that I believe in, as many other people believe in different things, whatever it is that we choose in this life to believe in, we won't find that out until our last days come. And I just hope that whatever we choose, we chose right. You know?
Because that's what you should be doing is, all right, I'm just trying to see here. Okay, hold on. I just fixed the banner. Is what we should be doing in life now, not waiting until, you know, something happens where now you're like, you know, let me turn myself over to God, or let me turn myself over to Yahweh, or whoever your name is. Like, you should be walking like that now. You and you know, if you're gonna use, you're an Israelite, or you're gonna use, see, the thing that I have, Beauty Queen, is not so much, I don't have a problem with you saying who you are, what your religion is, or, you know, what tribe are you from. How do you apply that? Because what I'm saying is, we need to stop the whole religion talk, because right now we're in a dire situation where people are asking for their reparations back. People are asking, or not asking, they want their just dues back. It's becoming a lawless land. So we got to bring that law back. We got to bring, you know, this foundation, because religion is great and you need to have that. But I feel that's more personal. It shouldn't be, you know, implied on somebody else. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about, you know, with Christianity and being this Methodist. I don't like churches. I don't like none of the religious organizations. That's why I'm, you know, where I'm at now, because I can't be confined to anything. I'm free spirit. I have my direct line with God, and that's it. Or source, or, you know, many gods, whoever. Because then you go into spirituality, you got, you know, if you go into the Ifas and, you know, Santerias and all that other stuff, and they deal with Orishas, like, it's all the same thing in my mind.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that you believe in something, and that is what puts the structure to your life. And if you shut up, Jay. I think that religion is, if you have some type of, you have to have some type of spirituality, or I don't necessarily get caught up in religion.
Right.
I don't feel like I have to talk to somebody else before I speak to God, quote unquote, Jesus. I don't feel like I have to talk to any man prior to speaking to God, Selassie. I feel like my direct communication is with God. Right. And that's all you have to do, I feel. But religion gets people caught up. Like, some people need religion. Some people need something to believe in so they can live a moral life, you know? And I think that's crazy.
Yeah, and they need direction. Like, some people need discipline. So where the Nation of Islam comes in, you know, and how they have been able for 60, 70 some odd years to, you know, have people kind of fall in line and be these righteous people. I think you know, that was a good thing. And some, like I said, some of us need discipline. Some of us need a sense of direction. We need something to believe in. We need something to hang on to. But that's the only organization that we hear that's doing it.
Yeah, the Muslim faith, you know, in India, in freaking Hindu, all those places where they have Muslim cultures, like, that is exactly their way of life. Where that religion derived from in those countries and stuff, that is their way of life. Like, you see that here in America, is so many people, so many, I don't want to say races, but so many different ethnicities that America doesn't practice religion, I don't feel, or they don't follow any type of moral code. That's why, in my opinion, everything that is wild and reckless, same-sex marriages, transsexual women that they deem now women. Because you can't tell me that a man is a woman because they wearing a costume. But like,
Right.
if you believe in something, like, you should know that that can't happen. But here in America, I think it's more so about making people feel good, making people feel included or inclusive, opposed to doing what's right, having order and structure. And that is why I feel we're in the place where we're at now.
Exactly. Because there's too much liberty.
Yeah, too much liberty,
And
right?
there's not, the law and order is not our law and order. That's the government's law and order that came from Europe and Britain. They brought that over here. And so now we have to follow suit or else.
Or else.
And so when we, and I had brought up, because the brothers that I was talking to, most of them from New York. So, from New York City, rather. And in New York City, for those, I'm sure y'all seen it even on TV, it's a melting pot of everybody across the world. They come to this city. We got about 8 million people in this city alone. Just in the city, not the state, the city. And so when these people come over here, like you got your Nigerians or you got your Pakistanians, your Hasidic Jews, whatever the case may be, they come over here and they keep to their traditions. But they assimilate into America and understand, if let me stay out of trouble so I don't, have to, I don't have to deal with the law. And they mind their business. Now, we also know that the government gives them some stipends and sets them up a little better than the Native Americans. And I'm not talking about Native Americans. I'm talking about I'm a true Native New Yorker. I'm 3 generations born into New York City. I'm a native. So this is the education that we have to re-educate ourselves on, because what does the native mean? What is the indigenous? It's the same thing. I'm not indigenous to this land, but I'm a native to this land. Y'all get it? So when other people come over here, the foreigners, they keep to themselves for the most part. They seek out job opportunities. And it's true for most parts, like when you hear about Mexicans and you live in a part where it's a lot of that going on over there, beauty queen, right? You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be doing certain things that we're still like, nah, I'm not doing that. So you can't get mad at them. And what they do is they'll get a little house together. Everybody comes in, Pedro and all of them is all glued up into this one house until they get that money together, and then they can start, either giving money back to their country or to their families back at home, or they start building their own little community within the communities for themselves. And so, we listen, as long as they're paying taxes or they're as long as there's some way giving back, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're freeloading, which most of them are doing, and they're getting on some assistance that some of us can't get on, I have a problem with that. And that's where Donald Trump was saying, put that wall up.
Yeah, I definitely have a problem with people who are not native to America getting assistance before Americans.
Right.
I feel that way. So,
we're redlined. The Native Americans are redlined to the government. Almost by design, especially the melanated Americans. We know this, but we have to, all right, so we know this, but now we got to get back to, okay, well, who am I? Where am I from? Where's my family from? So I can hold on to this and keep these traditions with my family. An argument was presented, well, the black culture, the black Americans don't have that. We don't have
like that.
And I'm like, okay, how?
Yeah, like my family's from St. Lucia, Cash Street, St. Lucia. I will never say, I won't say that I'm from Africa because I know that my family was born in St. Lucia. Now, what they did to get there, I have no idea. I've lived in St. Lucia. I go back every summer. So for me, that's where I come from. I won't even argue with people who say all Black people are from Africa. I really think that's an ignorance to think that we're all just from there, as if people from Colombia, Colombia is in North America. I mean, South America. Like, why couldn't Black people already be there and be of Spanish descent or whatnot? But that all has to do with the Spanish, the French, the Portuguese coming over or going over, But I do think there were families in America. I think there were Black families in numerous of places prior to just the Atlantic slave trade of Africa. Mm-hmm. And I could be wrong, but I just refuse to, in my opinion, be that closed-minded.
Right, exactly. And this is the whole thing. Like, we have to be able to expand our minds. Vera was in the building. Salute to you. I don't know, I didn't get to see you there, but thank you for coming through.
But where do people start their history from? A lot of people say that African Americans are a lost culture, a lost history, that they purposely, by design, made it to where we couldn't track our history or know where we're from. So what should that African American do when they're trying to find out where they belong, besides ancestry.com and all that stuff?
Right. Well, it's genealogy. I hear that genealogy is what it is. I mean, if you do the DNA, okay, that's great. But apparently these genealogy, I mean, these ancestry and 23andMe, they kind of like fumble with it. They're using other, because you got to think, all right, think of somebody in a tribe, let's say in Upper Benin, right? Because apparently my grandaunt did the ancestry.com, and she got a high percentage of family or DNA traced to Ivory Coast, Africa, Benin, and Ghana. So, all right, who's doing that test out there so that it could track her DNA over here? Like, I'm not saying all of them are living in a hut, but who's doing those tests out there?
Yeah, and like I say, my family is from St. Lucia, but my mom did that test too, and she had Ivory Coast, 40%, Nigeria, all this stuff, like 2%. She even wears an Irish clove on her charm bracelet because she found out she was 2% Irish. And I was like, yo, like, St. Lucia is in America. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Like, no. Now, for us, we didn't do any, besides my grandaunt, but we always have been orators in my house. So we knew that my great-grandmother's father was, the story was it was always a Scottish man, but he was not born there. He was born in England, and no one really has too much information on my great-grandmother's mother and father's side. I think they might have been, apparently they were married, but he's coming, he's this Englishman coming over to Jamaica. So I'm like, well, how did he meet up with her and what was going on over there? Now they can trace more information with my great-grandfather, which was her husband, who also was born in Jamaica. So his side of the family has more, there's some more, how do you call that? Genealogy, if you will, that can trace everybody being from Jamaica and maybe a distant ancestor, coming from Ghana. So I'm like, all right, but I'm not going to say that I'm all, now that's just on my mother's side. On my biological father's side, I don't know anything other than his mother was Cuban. Yeah. I don't know my biological father at all. So I don't know what other ancestry or DNA is in my system. Obviously, I'm very fair-skinned, damn near white. And so that can look a certain kind of, aesthetic, or, there's some Negroid features, but there's still clearly my skin is very fair-skinned. So half of these people, if they knew it, you're not all just African, you're got all this stuff in you, you gotta realize then you know what, fit, I'm all of that. And that's why I don't have these kind of conversations with other people, because they want to claim to something. And I'm like, yo, check this out. I'm gonna sound real crazy. I did my name and where my birth, how I lay out my numbers and numerology and stuff. I'm associated to the star system Pleiades. Like I'm in the galaxy. Like screw you little humans. I'm of and in this world. That's
you on some big shit.
What you said?
I say we minions. You like God, like up here.
I'm saying, and I don't want to fluff my feathers, beauty queen, but I'm telling you, like, yo, I did my freaking numerology and my gematria, and that all traces my name to Metatron and he's part of the Pleiades system, which is Taurus. The Pleiades star system is Taurus. My moon is in Taurus. Listen. That will sound all spooky to them because they want to hear something that's in text, black and white. Prove to me. Let me tell you something. I don't gotta prove nothing when I'm God's celestial child. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So let's get Brother Maybach in the building.
Hey, Maybach.
Peace.
Salute.
Peace and blessings. Grand afternoon to y'all, ladies.
You.
Salute to everybody.
Grand afternoon.
I'm an alien.
Oh, you're an alien too?
Yeah, I'm an alien. Yep.
You gotta fluff your feathers.
I'm trying to find out because I was told I'm from the Greys. I was told I'm from the Anunnakis. So I'm trying to figure that out too. So the
Greys?
Yeah, they said I belong to the Greys as well. You know, the same way they telling us that, you know, we're African American, it's the same thing out there too in the alien race too. So I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, I got confirmation. So, you know, again, I don't want to fluff my feathers, but you know, somebody was like, well, what made you so special that Metatron reached out to you? And I was like, I don't know. But when I found out, now I knew.
Yeah. No, but what you said earlier, all jokes aside, I want to piggyback off what you said. My parents being from the Caribbean islands, I wasn't taught, or they didn't speak of being African either. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I know I was taught, and from what I was told, you are what your parents are. You know what I'm saying? Your great grandparents, wherever they come from, that's what you are. Both of my parents were born in Haiti. Yes, they became American citizens, but they both, my father's side and my mother's side. You know, my father's side was from an area called Jacmel, you know what I'm saying, which is more the mountain side of Haiti. And my mom's was more from the city side, you know, like Port-au-Prince area. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you live in, you know, you from being from New York and you being from one of the boroughs, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I know, you know, and like you said, I've said this plenty of times too on your platform. Like I've had, you know, debates with people because they overheard me saying certain things. And I always stress like, yo, I'm not being ignorant and stuff like that, but I don't feel the story that we've been told. You know what I'm saying? And that started for me like a few years ago from just doing research with they saying like, you know, how did they have these type of ships at that time to carry that much people? All of this stuff makes you think and wonder. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I put in the chat, like, okay, if we're like, we have land in Haiti. We have houses in Haiti. So I can go to Haiti. I can't go to Africa. I don't have no family members out there. I don't have land out there. I don't know no one. I mean, I have friends. I can go and visit them, but I'm talking about as far as like my family, you know, great uncles or great, you know, granddads and stuff like that. I don't have no one in that land. If my family is not in Miami, New York, New Jersey, Philly, in the States, they all still in Haiti. So I can at least go and see them, touch them. And you know what I'm saying? I don't have nobody in Africa. So that's why I said, like, you know, once people start doing research and they start finding out stuff and we start questioning things, now you're looked at, you're frowned upon. It's like, oh, why are you asking questions and stuff like that? Just believe what you're told. No, my own parents told us, me and my siblings, question everything, even if it comes from our mouths. You know, so it is what it is. People, like you said, people gonna believe what they want to believe. And what I learned, people believe in lies. People believe in occults. People believe in the most negative things. So people gonna believe in what they want to believe in. And if you look up the in the dictionary, some of the meanings to the word belief means to basically have faith in. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. I told a gentleman the other day, I was like, yo, it's like somebody coming to you and saying, oh man, you know, I got proof that your wife is cheating on you. And then the gentleman says, oh, but I don't believe my wife. I said, no, you shouldn't even use that word. You should say, I know for a fact my wife is not cheating on me. You understand what I'm saying? We already know how these words are being, you know, used, and they hold spells and the true meanings. I don't know if y'all know. I just was taught the word nice is not what we was told. It has no positive meanings to the word. You know, so I don't know.
So
it is what it is.
I wanted to show you guys, because I said that I was going to bring out this Egyptian book. It's called The Monarchs of the Nile. Now, I got this off the street. Some guy was selling it. I think I got it for like $5. Listen, I love those guys that are on the street that sell these books. So it's called The Monarchs of the Nile, and it's by Aiden Dodson. I don't know what ethnicity he is, but he wrote this. It's coming from the American Cairo Press. Now, he's an Egyptian archaeologist at Durham, Liverpool, and Cambridge University. So he's most likely British. But anywho, you know, in this book, it goes through all of the dynasties, right? And in chapter, what is that? 15, 20? I don't know. I hate Roman numerals. I need my yellow Jesus to break down these numbers for me. Tutmosis III and Hatshepsut. Now, I wasn't aware of until maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that there was a woman pharaoh. And she did that. She was, I believe, his mother or sister. And she had to take on the role of being a pharaoh because, half sister, because he was sick and dying or something to that effect. I didn't read this chapter yet, but again, these are things that they don't talk to us about. Why? Because it's a patriarchal society, right? It's pretty much male dominant society. This is what they're going to feed us. This is what they're going to tell us. Men, right? They always are on Ramses' coattail, Tutankhamun, but they don't talk that there was a female pharaoh. And she took place because her brother, her half brother, I'm not sure. I think this is where he got sick and he was dying, and she had to take over the kingdom for a while until they can get the proper heir to take over. So these are again just things that, I mean, listen, they're not telling us. They don't want it to. They're spinning what they want to tell us, and this is how this is how some people accept it. But us free thinkers, or some people who have a little more knowledge, are not going to fall for the okie doke. And that's what led me to this topic. And me and you were talking behind the scenes, Maybach, and I was like, yo, I need you to come up. We're going to do this Mindful Monday. And this is where I was going, because I don't want to have debates with Israelites and things like that. I have no, I don't know nothing like that. So I can't sit there. All I can sit there and tell you is where my family and what we did and things like that. But, you know, the Bible, I read it from time to time when I need some inspiration, when I need some wisdom, when I need some comfort, or reassurance, or affirmation. But I'm not quoting it, you know, verbatim and coming out there like a soldier, like the Hebrew Israelites on 42nd Street. I'm not doing that. Right. Okay. So what was her name? Lotus. There we go. See, and there was two. There are two these women that were pharaohs in the interim. They don't want to talk too much about that. But go ahead.
I heard one of the infamous. No, I was told that one of the infamous pharaohs, like they have jewelry of and pictures of, really is a woman. Yeah, it really was a woman. So I heard the same thing as well too. I heard the same thing. Yeah, it was a woman and not a guy.
And they don't want to tell us that. Yeah. Right. So check this out. So now I'm gonna go into my little rant about how this guy on one of the panels was in the chat being a troll to me, because I was on a panel with, I don't know, maybe 8 other men. I was the only woman. So the guy in the chat was like, oh, she needs to shut her mouth and let the guys talk. She needs to be put in her place. Blase blue. I wasn't interrupting any of the men. I let them talk. But when they started talking over each other, that's when I interjected and I said what I needed to say, you know, because I have some information to, you know, to give and so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. He was the only guy in the chat that was like semi-trolling me. So I was like, all right, I'm not responding to it. But it's that type of notion that you don't understand that that's where men get their wisdom from. Why do you hear the word wisdom? That's your wife, that's your woman, that's your mother, that's your sister, that's your aunt, that's your grandmother. You're getting wise counsel from women. Yes, men will tribune together and they will talk, but remember, on the council they'll have one wise woman there.
Correct.
That's
so
right.
It'd be very ill-minded for some of these men out here. Listen, and the matriarch is taking over. It's going to take over. I'm going to sit here with my popcorn and my iced tea and watch how these alpha males are going to deal with this matriarch coming through. Because they're not going to have a good time because they've been put into this patriarch for so long. And if they're not tapped into their feminine, they're going to have a hard time with really coming to grips with it's going to be a woman's world in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
When you say women's world, in what capacity?
I'm gonna say this: the women like us who can give this wisdom, this counsel, this nurturing. That's who it's going to be for. It's not going to be for the feminist woman who wants to, you know, be equal with the man making 6, 7, 8 figures. It's going to be the matri, the maternal.
Yeah.
All right, I'll clarify that. Now I'm going to bring up the birthday girl.
Happy birthday, Lotus.
Good afternoon. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. I hope you had a blessed one.
I did. Thank you.
Yay. So what you got for us? Well, how was your birthday, first of all?
My birthday was good. I just relaxed and chilled with the kids and the family.
Good.
Nothing wrong with that. I did the same thing on my birthday. Was with my kids. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the older we get to, it's like the partying and BS and all that stuff. It's like, I don't want to do that. I'm too tired. I'm too old. Listen, I went out to my grandmother, her sister's 90th birthday 2 weekends ago. I had 2 martinis. One was a dirty one. That dirty one wiped me out. I couldn't get up in the morning. I was like, Mom, what time is it? She's like, it's 11 o'clock. Get up. I can't drink no more.
Yeah,
that was me last
certain
week.
Age, it don't work no more. It don't work for your body no more.
You're a rookie.
Listen, I'm 46. We're 46. I ain't trying to be running with no 26-year-old acting like
I can't do it no more.
Last week I was Foxy. Sorry, last week I went to the Brooklyn Bowl to see Kali Buzz. I didn't know I was coming to New York that time, but I am coming 2 weeks. So I will try to link up with you in about 2 weeks. But I had like 2 drinks.
Hold on, you said who was performing?
Kali Buzz.
He's still around?
Yeah, he a culture reggae artist from Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow, Kali Buzz is still around.
Yeah, he was at the Brooklyn Bowl last weekend, so that's where I was at. But I had like 2 drinks, vodka and cranberry. Let me tell you, by the time I walked to that car, I was on the side of the street throwing up. I said, "Oh, is this what 40 looks like?" Because I used to could handle all of this. I was screaming, "I gotta find a bush. I need a bathroom," and you know you can't find no bathroom there. So it was terrible.
That's crazy.
What? See? Yeah, man.
But there is a such thing too that our systems start to reject things that was used to be normal to us as well too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I believe it. So, do you want to grace us with some of your wisdom, my Lotus, and what you got to say with in regards to the topic today?
I think, let's see, everybody needs to talk to their elders at least the eldest person in your family that you can talk to. And you just need that one name. And once you find that one name, you can go from there.
Right.
And I'm
That's a
also in
Good
the
point.
process of doing that now
mm-hmm. That's a fact.
since our past life reading that we had. And it
Mm,
was real informative. I learned a lot.
wow. And that to some people is like, well, it's not in a book, it's not evident. I don't know if I could believe that. And I'm like, well, you're believing somebody who was living 2,000 years ago, who may or may not be real.
It's
Correct.
easy to believe
Correct.
what we've been told for so long
Yeah.
than to think outside of the box
Because
and
we've been
question.
pre-programmed. So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead. I apologize.
I dropped the link in the chat, so if anybody wants to, I think another person could come through. I'm not sure how that works, but you can. I saw Ant Dog in the building. I know he's at work, but
And yeah,
right,
normally, like if you think outside the box or reject whatever it is that people are giving you, you're deemed a problem. You're deemed
Yeah.
Correct.
dangerous,
Crazy.
and
Ostracized.
yeah,
Crazy. Yes. On drugs. Yes.
all of that. Yeah.
well, this is what they're trying to do with poor Mr. West.
You said Mr.
Yo,
Who?
Mr.
But he's
West.
doing it to himself.
Yeah, but see, to me, I don't even want to say I'm on the fence with him. It's just that it's like I'm looking at him side eyes because years ago you wasn't like that. You came in
Exactly.
Yeah, you came in backpacking, right? You came in backpacking. Then I guess once you really signed to the Rockefeller, whatever, you changed
Right.
your whole persona. You started, like he said, oh, I went to Jacob with my first, check and bought the jewelry. You know what I'm saying? And then now, to me, people are saying he's fake woke. That's how kind of I look at him. Now, Kyrie on the other end, Kyrie was always like that. What it is,
I kind of feel the same way. I don't know too much about Kyrie, but I definitely feel that he's a little more sincere and he definitely knows a little bit more than what Kanye is saying.
Because you know how it is. The more you get around certain people, or you start to have money, you can do certain things, and now you can meet certain people. Like the Dick Gregory's before he passed away, like the Louis Farrakhan. You can meet certain people and get certain information. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. I'll give Ye this. Some of the information he's putting out, I'm not going to deny it and say it's not true. It is fact. It's facts. But isn't it funny that Dave Chappelle even did a stand-up, and they always use humor to spread the truth. Right. He said that's one thing that I learned when I got into the industry. 2 words you don't mention. He said the and then the J's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
so I want to salute Ant Dog because he just came through into the building.
Salute.
Hello.
And
hey, guys, Foxy, everyone on the panel, what's going on?
Salute, brother.
We just here chopping it up. Also Lotus just celebrated she had her solar return. So this is, a little celebration as well. And just, talking, the topic was, I had brought out an article of from the discoverymagazine.com and, shedding some light in regards to the indigenous people of, Mexico, even down in the south area of where we live, the region, southwestern region, and trying to pin these timelines that, because I'm hearing this narrative again about us coming from Africa and the Israelites, it was all in Africa. And I'm like, y'all will get your feelings hurt if you find out that the true ancient civilization was actually here in the Americas. But they don't want to hear that.
I agree.
No, they don't never want the truth.
So that's what we were talking about, Ant Dog. What's your take and feelings? Please drop us with some knowledge as well, because I don't want to sound like, half-assed.
Shit. Then, they never want the truth to come out, but they can't stop it because eventually it's going to reveal its own self. Let them keep digging. They're going to dig up exactly what they need to dig up, and the truth going to reveal itself. And then they can be like, deer in the headlights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's gonna come.
I think
Always come.
it's going to come quicker because there's a lot of people that first of all, information. We're in the age of Aquarius, as they say, so that means technology. Aquarius is the sign of technology.
Correct.
So the more information that people are downloading these old books and putting them up, so people can upload and read them, a lot of us is going to start becoming, coming into our senses, where it's going to be like, oh snap! All right, just like I stumbled on a couple of brothers, Asir Zukatir's. The Turtle Gang, they've always been talking about how civilization was here, that your so-called the Jordan River or the River Nile is actually the Mississippi River. There is an Egypt there in Kansas, right? So all middle west part of America, North America, if you will, going down to Texas, what is it, Arizona, Louisiana, Alabama, all those are ancient lands.
Very much so. Why you think most of the storms are hitting where we ain't?
Right.
You pay attention to that?
Yep.
Yes, the weather is all tied into it.
Correct. You know how I look at this?
Ancestors.
I look at it, right? I look at it like, do y'all know about the great mud flood that happened?
No, when was that?
Okay, well, it was a city called Tartaria.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. I'm learning about how
Yeah.
they wiped out their history. But if you go to Russia and other countries, they expose it. They show you the maps that actually shows Tartaria. But out here, they don't show it. If like so the what they call the Zen nation, the Zen, like my
yeah.
kids, they probably will never find out about it because that's what they doing. They wiping it out, their history during our time right now. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm learning about. I'm like, why they cover it? So basically, they show structurals too. Like I'm talking about big structural stuff that they architectural structures that they built and all this other stuff. And all they did was when the mud flood happened, they used the mud flood to basically build on top of these, great architectural structures and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, but why they like basically wiping out their history? Like why they don't want us to know about it? You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at some of the stuff with the information. You know what I mean? Like they trying to get rid of it completely so you don't find out or you don't really know.
Well, in I think it's Chula, Mexico, there's the what you would call a pyramid. That there is a Catholic church that sits on top of this pyramid, and they have now discovered that there was this mound, burial mound, or religious mound that's been there all this time. And they built over it because these colonizers knew that was sacred land. So how dare they put a Catholic church on top of that.
Wow.
Go ahead,
They take a lot of things that are sacred. Well, just like your judicial system is part of the Egyptian system. So
Correct.
They take things from other people and use it to their advantage.
Correct.
A lot of your government is ran off of the Egyptians.
Yep.
The Mott law.
Yes, the Ma'at laws. That's
you got
right.
12 jurors. 12 jurors and a judge.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yep.
They all copycats. But remember this: the only way you can take it is by how they took it.
Exactly. Oh, and Andor, you
They don't
listen.
want to say that, but I had to put that in there right quick.
That's sacrimonious. How dare you talk about uproar? I said you so-called black people. Oh, what do you mean by so-called? Because you're not black.
I'm black.
But
I'm not black. I'm not black.
Exactly.
I'm indigenous. I'm sorry.
But
I'm
I
not
say
black.
so-called, and that's offensive. Oh, what do you mean so-called? What do you call yourself? I don't say that. But if I have to put it down in the census book, then yes.
But it's the truth. It's the truth because I
check
learned
this
that
out. Hold on,
3 years
Maybach.
ago.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So, if these people are talking about gaining what was rightfully theirs back, the only way that that can happen is do what they did to you.
Universal
Militia.
law.
You don't want the militia. You want militia? Go back into what is it, 1800s? When was the uproar revolution there in Haiti? Maybach?
1804.
Right, and ours was 18. I think ours was either before or a little after yours in Jamaica.
Yeah, it was after.
So do you want the Maroons? Let's get the Maroons to let's do this uproar, indigenous folk. Since y'all saying y'all indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, until you ready for that capital W ends with an R.
When that happens, everybody got to be on the same accord. Can't be a tug of war.
Correct.
Everybody got to be on the same page. And when you go in head first. Ready.
Correct.
You can't be half stepping. Can't be pep. Ain't no stutter. Ain't none of that. Got to bring it.
That's a fact.
Ain't no half stepping, is what they say.
That's it.
That's how I look at it. Until then, you can keep claiming you somebody or you want to be. But we got to talk about law. We got to talk about law and their laws. All that religion, that's great. And to have your faith in certain things, that's fine. But these people, they use that as a ploy. They hid behind that. They really came out here on some law and order. They didn't come out. They used their Bible. They used their little whatevers that they wrote to keep you subservient. And then when you break their laws, then it's okay. Now we're going to get you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's like they don't want to believe that we're not subjected to the laws of this land. We're supposed to be subjected to the laws of Morocco.
And where was Morocco? See, and that's another thing.
You're already in Morocco. Which
there you go. There you go. There you go.
You're already there. What do you mean?
There you go.
That's all this was. And if you pay attention when they show some of them rooms in the White House, you see a room full of red flags with the green star. Wonder why? The whole room has nothing but them flags in there. They got to honor them people. That's just their land. They know it. They're who the ones they paying for the land. That's why it's a business.
If the natives get, we're supposed to get that.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say it all that.
No, that's people can look that up. So if they can look that up, then that's a fact. What we want to be mindful of is saying hate, rhetoric, and our language. We want to be mindful about that. But if people can look that up, then that's the truth.
That's why we're hating.
I already did a disclaimer. So copyright.
That's why they hate you.
Yeah.
Get it? That's why they hate you, because if you ever find out your true indigenous mean that this is your land, this is where you from.
Correct.
You're a nationalist. You don't need to be a citizen. So the citizenship don't apply.
Yeah, laws, all of that.
The laws
That's why
don't apply.
Correct.
You're not governed by these laws because this is your land. They took your land.
No, that's a fact. That's why the law doesn't apply to indigenous people. Laws, they don't go to court.
That's why these educated, so-called our educated folks want to be called black. You dummy. You're not black. You're indigenous. This is your home. This is where you're from. This is your land.
Black is an adjective anyways.
Well, I would say, talk black to me right now. So you're talking black to me. And that's why.
This is a trip. Check this out. Why they kill Martin? Because of what he said, right?
Well, apparently
What he said we was going to get. He had it. Them kids got it. I bet you he put it down what it take to get that check. Believe that. Believe that. That's why they killed him. Because he knew what he was doing.
That's
They couldn't let him. They couldn't let him. They couldn't let him. They couldn't allow it.
What
That's
the
why you
native
didn't know
we
who
supposed to
shot
get.
him. That's why you still don't know who killed him. You don't know who killed JFK.
Yeah, but his family got money, so they're just letting us know who it was. Now, who I have a problem with is Brother Malcolm. So there's no justice because now they don't let the guy come out and they're giving him millions of dollars for injustice. Blah blah blah.
It ain't really injustice. He was the backup.
He was the decoy.
Yeah, he was the fall guy. He was the fall guy.
Right.
Yes.
So
they got so many different scenarios that they played out. So
they don't want you to know.
No, never that.
But I also have good news, as I put in my title, in my headline. There is Dr. MUTULU Shakur is coming out of the beast. So
That's good.
he will die out in dignity because he has stage end cancer. He's very sick. But they saw whatever, his parole board, what have you. So he's getting the paperwork together, and by December he should be out. He says, "Oh, you talk about MUTULU. You only like MUTULU Shakur because of his stepson." No, when I actually got to dig deeper, but yes.
That was a good one.
That would sound like
yeah, he's like, "Oh, you only like him. You only know about him because that would have been my stepfather. That would have been my father-in-law." Shut up, shut up. But listen, what he did for the community, especially here in the Bronx back in the 80s. I mean, him and Afeni and the rest of the Panthers. Come on, that's a problem. He was a acupuncturist. He went up to Canada to get his degree and come back and serve the community of the Black and Hispanic or Latin community and get them taken care of without the government's medication. And that was a problem. That was a problem.
You remember they had to disband them, the Black Panther. They had to disband them. But you know why? Because they didn't need the government.
Right.
They didn't need them. So they had to get rid of them because we got to make sure they depend on us.
Well, they did that with the Black.
They didn't need the education. They didn't need nothing.
Right, they was doing too much good. That's what it was. They was doing too much good for the communities.
It was getting ready to happen.
Right.
What they don't want to happen was get ready to happen. That's why they had to disband it. But why? I better not say that. Y'all about to get me into some shit.
Listen. The guy who was running the FBI. The guy who was running the FBI, he wrote the playbook on attacking, our households by taking out the men.
He was us.
It's in the
what you talking about?
No, I know he was half. He was half. He was a cross dresser as well too, and all this other stuff. We can go into him. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like we can elaborate.
Yeah, it's sad that he put a lot of dirt. He caused a lot of the dirt.
No, of course.
Exactly. Well, and we know this that it was exposed back in 1971. There were some people that went to the Philadelphia building, and they were able to take out and extract all these documents, and that's how COINTELPRO was exposed. To let us know that they were against the teachers' unions, they were against the Black Panthers, they were against any organization that was combining together. So this is records that have been exposed, so you guys can look this up. The COINTELPRO is now out there as knowledge to the people. So, yeah, I don't know. We lost Raz Girl, my beauty queen. I hope she comes back.
You notice that every time I say 8, 9, maybe 10 blacks get together, it's been disbanded.
Yep.
But 40 and 50 of them can get together and they ain't gonna do nothing.
Listen, like my father used to tell me, when there's, like you just said, 5 to 10, melanated men, it's labeled a gang. When it's the Italians, it's labeled a mob. But anybody outside of those, they just, it's just regular people just getting together, having a good time. That's all.
Oh, and they'll say, "Oh, boys are just being boys," and they're like in their 20s. But the Central Park Five, who were just teenagers, were boys.
Correct.
They were animals. Correct. They were men. Not men. They were animals, and they should deserve to die.
Correct.
The youngest was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. Sad.
Salute to Kevin. Salute to Raymond.
It's only because they're afraid.
Mm-hmm.
They the ones that are scared, and so because they're armed, they use that. I was fearing for my life, but how are you fearing, Mug? You got a gun. Correct. How are you fearing, and I ain't got nothing? So what you afraid of? You gonna shoot yourself in the foot?
Well, they still use that tactic to this day.
And the stupid upper people are, oh yes, he was fearful for his life with a gun in the side, and the gentleman didn't have nothing, but he was fearful. Shit, how the fuck?
Exactly. You put 30 shells into somebody and they had no weapon at all. And you're talking about you was fearful of your life. Yeah, that's why I said they still using that tactic to this day.
But to be fair, and I'm going to be the bonnet in the bee, we doing our own injustice.
That's a fact as well too. You got to keep on both sides. That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's a true fact. Because
and that's happening more now than it did when we were being strung up. All right, there was more unity there than there is now. Now we got division because you see these so-called entertainers that Brother Malcolm told you not to look at as leaders.
Correct. False prophets.
And you're watching them, and they got gold on, and they got cars, and but we don't. You talking about me and my cards and me doing tarot and things like that. That's false idolatry. You're wearing gold and you're doing all this other extra stuff, and that's idolatry as well.
Don't leave out them colors now. Don't leave out them colors now. You know you can't wear a certain color in a certain area because you ain't gonna make it.
Correct.
Because they supposed to own something but don't own a damn thing.
Correct.
You got no businesses, but you got the street tied up, and don't come over here on this
block.
side.
You got a block that don't have nothing on the block. What kind of shit is that?
No. What about
own nothing on the block?
What about taking out your own kind for a street that you don't own?
Exactly.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
Or project building that you live in, you claiming it like you built that fortress. No, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You there and you probably don't even pay a dime rent there.
Come on now. Come on.
Hey, that's a facts though.
And all of that was built.
Come on with it.
And all of that was built for soldiers when the soldiers came back from war. You know what I'm saying?
But the soldiers came back to fight in another war.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right here. More die here than they did out on the war.
That's right.
A shame.
Well, they came back brain dead though. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them came back brain dead from stuff that they had to do out there.
That's right.
That they had to endure.
That's right.
Exactly.
That you would never clue.
Correct.
That you were not prepared for, and you went out there thinking you're serving your country, and your country's telling them bomb up this village with men, with children and women in it.
Correct. I never understood that.
That's why they're coming back with PTSD. This is where MUTULU SHAKUR comes in and says, oh, these guys are on drugs because of the stuff that they were dealing with. Let me get them off of that. Let's do it holistically.
Correct.
But where they get them from?
Over there.
They gave it to them.
They were putting it in the caskets. They were putting it in the caskets. Frank Lucas, that story with Denzel Washington, they showed us how they were doing it.
Correct. That's fact.
Hey, it's facts though. That's it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And trust me,
you saying,
he
Lotus?
wasn't the only one. He got caught, but trust me, he wasn't the only one.
They were already doing that.
Who you got? You talking about Oliver North?
No.
Oh. I thought you were talking about that. With that, you know who was in charge of that. Like the gentleman just said, Oliver North took the fall for that. But you know who should have really took the fall? Remember the Gorillas?
They've been doing that stuff. They had that stuff. They've been doing it since the 60s, 50s.
Correct.
But Lotus, what did you want to say? Because I thought I heard you chime in.
Oh, I was saying they had to go over there and they had to kill people that look just like them.
Ooh, come on now.
Correct. Or people that they didn't even have an issue with. You know what I'm saying? Because we're fighting somebody's war. We don't cause no wars. We know who causes them or who makes them up. You know? My thing is this, right? It's like you trying to train a dog to be a killer. But you want the dog to be like, soft and settle. You can't train someone to be a menace and then you drop them back in society and say, okay, you got to be nice, live life right. You know what I'm saying?
That's why when they come back, they don't go straight home.
They got him like in a halfway house. Look at Manchurian Candidate, the old one and the new one with Denzel Washington once again. Giving him an award for playing a crooked cop. But he played these monumental roles prior to that. Correct. But anyway, I digress with that. But what I'm saying is that they showed you what they do with these veterans and whatnot. They come home, Manchurian Candidate.
No, listen, it's a fact because in other countries, they can't produce certain type of movies. And if it's made, it's not going to be shown to the masses. You know what I'm saying? Out here, they glorify. Yeah, they glorify gangsters and stuff like that and wonder why, our children want to look up. Oh, yeah, I want to be Scarface. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you glorify this guy. Come on.
Glorify what they see, what they put out.
Correct.
They're watching Jeffrey Dahmer on Netflix, and people are loving that series.
Exactly.
I'm like, really?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because you know what's so funny about that? Once people started pressing up about that movie, then the director and the producers come out. Oh, but we're helping out the family that we can find.
No,
why was it? Yeah, why was it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Every time you watch it, you feeding into that energy.
Correct. Oh, I'm big on that. I watch what I eat, what I'm watching on TV, YouTube, all of that. Because people don't believe that, but you do become what you're putting in, you know what I'm saying? Our temples, our bodies, whatever you do. If you listening to that drill music all the time, yeah, you're going to be on edge. Somebody just looks at you and they could be looking at your shirt.
You gonna snap.
Yeah, you snap like, oh, what you staring at?
Then you be like, damn, what made me do that?
It's like, yo, homie, I was just looking at your shirt. I like that shirt. But you on one because, that's the type of music you. But if I go in there, I'm listening to Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, or just good soulful music. I'm coming in there like, how you doing, Queen? What's up, brother? Hey, King, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Your vibe is different. Your aura is different. Your energy, your frequencies is different. Yeah, my kids don't know rap music. I got a 6-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. I play nothing but soul good music around them. They know about Michael Jackson. They know about even Sam Cooke and all of that other stuff. And they only 6 and 4.
Good. We gotta set the precedence forward and kind of right the wrongs of this other generation that's trying to because they're lost. And but we got another generation underneath that, like your 4 and 6-year-old. That they're going to really right those kids.
I don't know what kind of world they're gonna have.
Facts. I don't either.
They're gonna fix it. I'm telling you.
They're gonna take over. They're gonna take over.
I think the kids gonna do an uprising.
That's right. That's right. We're not gonna see it.
I'm glad Ant Dog brought that up, right? Because I've been watching stuff that when the last riot, the biggest, what was it, the Rodney King or the Watts one? I think all of these laws and all of these policies that came in place after those years from the 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s up to now, that's what they've been fearful of. And they still fearful of an uprising in this country. You know what I'm saying?
We're going through an uprising now. You
Right.
just have to pay attention.
Correct.
And it's bigger than politics.
That's
But the
right.
politics is what they use to distract us.
Correct. Correct.
Mhm. That's right. That's the stronghold. But I was on a panel where the person had said, well, we shouldn't. They were like, and the war out there in Russia and Ukraine. And I said, I don't care about no war out there. That's not my battle.
I don't
That
live out
war
there.
has nothing on the war that we are in now.
Right.
Has nothing on it.
Right.
Correct.
But the World War III, they keep talking about this impending doom. That's a spiritual warfare for your consciousness and your soul.
Yes. And people have already pledged their allegiance. So you have to pay attention.
And I think they're going to manufacture it. That's just my belief. I think they're going to manufacture the W3. I think that's what they want, because I don't know if y'all seen or paid attention that all of these certain countries are showing their little powers. Oh, so-and-so shot up 6 missiles, ballistics in the air, and this other country's shooting this.
Isn't
Why you
South
think they do
Korea
that?
still shooting missiles?
Correct. And they advertising it on, I mean, it's even on YouTube. I saw it live. I'm like, what? I can watch this live? They actually, back then, those things was never shown. It was talked about, but you didn't see it. It was talked about, but you didn't see it. Now, every country's showing their power. Look what I got. No, look what I got. No, look what I got. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because the world is meant to self-destruct.
Man gonna destroy the world
and
itself.
That's what we're doing. We're self-destructing.
Well, because some of these people that we talking about that's in power, they anti, they don't believe in the higher being.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But
they don't believe
that
in
they don't believe in it. They know that they only have a certain amount of time before it's up. That's why everybody's running scared now, telling on everybody.
Correct.
Contracts are up.
Woo!
Hey, I'm about to say something and I gotta go.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm getting ready to get deep. The word said everybody get on one accord. Heard what I said, right?
Okay.
Everybody's on one accord. That means everybody got to be thinking the same thought. Everybody got to have that same on one accord. That's power. That's your power. I got to get back to work. You have a good evening.
Salute,
enjoy the show.
Salute, bro, and dog.
Love
healing and
soul
blessings to
to
you and your
everybody.
family.
Peace, love, and blessings, bro. Be safe out there, man. Safe. Stay blessed.
All the time.
All right. Yep, dropping those jewels. They don't want that. They voted in the COINTELPRO 8. No rise of Black messiahs. You think that these two men that are saying whatever that's in the spotlight now, that's going to keep going for so much longer? No. They're going to get silenced by whatever necessary. And so again, that has to be now the collective thinking for themselves again. And I know some of us like to look to leaders, and we need to have somebody guiding us in the direction. But you have to find this within yourself. You in your own household is your tribe. How can you, and I say this every now and then, how can you want to get along and do business and conduct business with outsiders, and you can't even do business and conduct yourself within your own family, your brothers, your sisters? You give these outsiders that fake love, but in your home, you despise your mother. You despise your brother. You despise your brother and sister.
So true.
The very people you're supposed to be working with.
Correct. But see, it goes back to what the brother was saying when they took down, BP.
Right.
That was the whole plan, because BP was about unity, getting everybody up together, helping the women out, helping each other, and stuff like that. They didn't want us to be that strong. You know what I'm saying? That's why all of these things was put in place. You know what I'm saying? The playbook was written, all of that. They don't want that. You know, they don't want that.
All right, so if they don't want that now, okay, because we can talk about the problems, we do that, but the solutions,
Correct.
these solutions are going to be on a smaller scale because people are like, so now what do we do? And
Correct.
you're all not going to get together. You're not going to band together.
Mm-mm.
That's
I'm glad that you said that, because I was going to piggyback before Ant Dog left, and I was going to say that's not logic. And I've said this before.
no. Yes, but because
we're not all going to be kumbaya.
No.
Sorry, we're not all going to be kumbaya. That's all I'm just trying to say. Like you said, this is how I look at it. There was more, like you said, there was more free thinkers then. There was more stronger men who stood. Yeah, they had to not be here, but they stood for something. You understand? We have too many, like you said. I don't even want to call them followers. They just lost. They gone. We can't even. No, I'm not trying to be funny. It's the truth.
No, I'm not laughing. I hear you.
Because I thought you know.
No,
but
clear my throat.
Because like you just said, right? There's certain things that I bring up, factual, that shows proof, documents. Oh, Maybach, here you go again with these theories. I'm like, brother, how is it a theory? I'm showing you the facts. This is documented on paper. They lied to us for years. It's is it real? Where did you get the paper from? See, this is what I'm saying. We're in a time where the truth is like lies. You know what I'm saying? People would believe the lies before they believe the truth. That's why I said
easy.
Correct. Because we have too many people that are really lost now. We was talking about the crack era. Now we got the pills. We got this. We got that. There's much more distractions now, than it is back then. We was forced to go outside to socialize. Oh, I gotta go down the street and get up with Foxy and Lotus, and we got to talk about the Cosby Show that was on last night. Now we're doing that on these, on these phones. People are not even getting up. I remember 2 years ago, they was like, even for Thanksgiving, don't have nobody at your house. What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like all of that corny stuff. And then they use, like you just said, they use an infamous, I'll say, Oprah's best friend who came out on the television, was like, I'm not going to have my family member over. And I'm looking at her like, really? Like, you really saying this in front of the national, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Believe me, I got hope.
It's propaganda. So
no, of course. They have to push that agenda. We know that, but all I'm trying to say is there's a lot of us that are lost. You might as well say zombies. They're gone. You know what I'm saying? They're gone. But the ones that do stand together, it's a small community. That's all. It's small. That's why I bring it up.
That is fine, because
That's right. That's right. Correct. That's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? I know I can't do it by myself. I know that for a fact. But if I band up with Foxy and get up with Lotus, Raz Girl, Ant Dog, now we're rolling. It becomes a movement.
That's a team.
And you know how people are when they see something, especially in these times. Oh, that's a movement. It's cool. Oh, okay. I'm joining in. You know how it is. They got to be.
I don't want you in my clubhouse.
No, fact. But
I don't want. Oh, the GOAT is here. Salute to Kid Murray.
Salute, bro, Kid Murray. Love, light, healing, and blessings to you and your family.
We're celebrating our Lotus. Her solar return was over the weekend, and we're just chopping it up.
Lotus, you at the spa?
No, I'm not at the spa.
Oh, now you sound like, vibrant. Before it's just like, hey guys, how's everyone?
Oh, it's just cool.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, she's really relaxed right now.
Yeah, the cheering in class.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can't get too vibrant. So we're just here to celebrate. I'm appreciative, Lotus, of you being here with me and being, a moderator extraordinaire, but being a sister in soul, and dropping your affirmations and your knowledge, into the chat, and just holding me down. Staying here with, there's a sacrifice that you're doing that not people. You just said you got your children in school and you homeschool your children. So the fact that you come on here certain times of the week with me and stay 2, 3, 4 hours, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta give it up to you.
That's love.
I appreciate y'all as well. Thanks, Kid Murray. I appreciate it. But I
Yes,
appreciate y'all as well because y'all keep me going. Y'all might not think y'all do, but y'all keep me going, just like my kids.
that's what's up. That's what it's supposed to be about.
And now you're able to go on your channel and start and going into your, to yourself, what your calling is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a brand new experience, and I'm having so much fun and enjoying it.
Good, good. Yes, I
That's
finally
what's
got
up.
to get to sit on a live with you, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
doing
it
some
was
things, saying
fun.
some things. I was like, wait a minute, girl, I'm right here looking at the house too. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
you went live? I don't know. Listen, y'all
She
know
was
how these
live on
people are playing
Saturday.
on this platform. Like how you told me yesterday, Foxy, that you was doing this, so I was prepared
What was
because
it?
that's what
Saturday?
a
No,
lot of people
Saturday.
do,
Yeah, it was
huh?
Saturday. It was Saturday.
It
I
was
remember.
Saturday. Okay, Saturday. But that's what we have to do because for some reason, the last 3 months they're not sending no notifications. So that's why I told you to make a post, and I actually saw the post, so I hit the notification. It was like
Okay.
notify me. Yeah,
Thank
that's what you have to do. Yeah, because they're not. I don't know if it's just our side and it's not the other side or it's the whole platform.
you.
But I just noticed, a lot of, melanated YouTubers been talking about that for the last 3 months.
I
So I
never
don't know.
noticed it because I
Yeah,
don't have
a
my
lot,
platform. It's
a
not
lot
big,
of
so
people are
I don't
talking
know.
Huh?
about it. Even
Well,
some
because
channels that I'm moderators on, I don't get the notifications.
No, that's what I'm saying.
really,
Yes, that's what I'm
wow.
saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like MREC, I don't get no notifications for MREC, and in my other
What?
homie, yeah, I don't get them. I just have to keep checking, or I'll hit him up and say, "Hey, you going on
Wow.
IG?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be live at such and such time." So then, yeah, but yeah, I haven't got no notifications for the last three
Mm-mm.
months. Yep,
Mm,
yep, yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is just on IG, send out a message when I'm doing, and I'm not I like Lotus. You were talking about on your live how you try to be consistent, but we got family and we got
Yep.
other things to do, and it's not easy to come up on on our channel and give that time. And it's mostly, when we're feeling compelled to do it. It's not like I'm giving you a set
Mhm.
time.
Right.
Wednesday was really the set time, but then Monday I wanted to leave the tarot and come on and do, just speak in my mind about other things because it's not just about the readings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, now Mondays are designated for that. But
Yep.
I didn't come on last Monday because my algorithm is weird and different. So I'm trying to work with that and stuff. So, being consistent with certain things is key. But like I'm not in this race. I'm not in the space where I need to compete with anybody. I'm flowing. Like Lotus says, she's a water sign. I'm a water sign. So we just flow with stuff. When it comes, it comes.
Mhm.
And we
Yep.
just rock out that way.
Yep. I'm gonna mute up for a second, ladies. I got something I gotta do.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
But
So
yeah, I'm like a free spirit, so I don't work good with time constraints.
mhm.
I try, but just like the other night when I went live, I wasn't expecting to go live. And then when I
Okay.
started to go live, then I started having technical issues. And I'm like, really? At the
No.
last minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get on and I did enjoy it.
Yeah, and then you started getting the people started coming in and then hanging in there, and I loved it because you was talking some stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, how this what? Lotus talking about housing and stuff, and I'm looking. I literally was on Zillow while I was listening to you. I'm on another app, and I'm in Zillow, and I'm like, what the hell, Lotus? Just let me out real quick. It
And
wasn't
over
me
the
specifically. It
past,
was it was an overall reading for the collective. But it was crazy that she was reading it at the same time that I'm having to be looking, online looking up houses. I'm like, what? Spooky good, brother Rich. Spooky good. I love you. I love you. I love you. Our Scorpio season is coming to an end, and brother Rich and our Lotus are our resident Scorpios. So
we love you, Brother Rich.
salute to you in heaven. But yeah, so you know, it is what it is, and we need to give our love and our homage to people here. I don't want to sound. Sometimes I burst bubbles to people, and that's not always the nicest thing. But I give the reality. Yeah, I think I'm kind of a pessimist as well. I always think of the negative because as a child, I never liked to hear the word no. So I would always think of no first. I'd always think about the bad thing first that can happen and not the good thing, so that I wouldn't let myself be let down if it didn't work out my way.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, and I still kind of hold that. So, I don't get myself gassed up. I don't kind of, try to be optimistic in some things, because I'm like, I don't like to get let down. I have a problem with that. Most people do.
Me
But
too. And no, I can't stand no. No, don't tell me
thank
no.
you. My mom stayed with no, 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 no. So it was like, if my friend wanted to like hang out or something, I'm like, no, my mom's going to say no. She was like, well, how do you know? You didn't even ask her. But then I'd ask her and she'd be like, oh, that's all right. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was already
prepared for it.
right. So you be prepared. So you know what I'm saying? Rejection doesn't hurt so bad.
That's true.
So what's going on with your channel? Let everybody know what's going on so that they can come over there and hang out with you.
Right now, I'm rebranding both channels. I have 2 channels. Lotus
Oh,
Flower Bomb. That's the one where I do the tarot readings.
okay.
And then I also have the channel Lotus's Imperium of Love Light Healing. And I'm going to use that as kind of like a therapeutic channel.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
But I have a lot of ideas with the second channel, but I think it's going to help the collective a lot.
Yeah. And that's what they need. That's what we need.
Because it's
'Cause
about building
and it's
better
too much negativity
relationships.
out.
And it's
There's too
not
much
just
negative.
intimate relationships, but relationships in families and friendships, even friendships and partnerships.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times we put so much in our friendships and our relationships, and then when they don't work out the way we want them to, because we're trying to control them, we get disappointed. So we want to try to change those things and rebuild relationships, show our children how to build relationships, so when they get in the world, they know how to navigate in the world.
That's right. Let me just respond real quick to Maybach. That's what we need. We need healing. We need healers.
Yeah.
And that's
Because
why I
there's
was
so much going on. And just like we were saying earlier, what can we do? Well, what you can do is you can start with yourself and your household. Protect your family. Pray protection over your families. Pray protection over all areas of your life. Pray for your enemies. Even though you might not want to pray for your enemies, you still pray for your enemies. Even those who send a negative energy or anything like that towards you, you send them back love. That's the only way we can get rid of all this hate. It's to combat it with love.
That's right. It's that, and that's the God frequency. That's your higher self. So that's great that you're going to be doing that, Lotus, because that it's much needed. There's too much pollution in these. It's YouTube is a great app or a network, but it also has a shadow side to it where there's these people that come on and there's a lot of negativity going through here. So we need that healing vibration.
Yeah, we want to teach each other how to heal also, because I know I've always been the type of person I can get along with anybody. So I'm able to navigate in different arenas and still spread my message,
That's
but
right.
not pushing it on anybody, but
Yeah.
being able to get on someone else's level and show them the way through spirituality, because sometimes people might not have access to the support systems
Right.
or know where to go to find out about spirituality, because of the things that they talk about when we speak on spirituality, how they make us look at it. They make us look at it as evil because it's not what they believe. And
That's
we
right.
fear what we don't understand. So the goal is to help people understand so they won't be in fear
That's
so
right.
much of it.
That's right. And that's the honest to God truth. Listen, you know, at the end of the day, everybody still subscribes to God.
At the end of the day.
Which one that you are is up to interpretation.
Hmm.
But
And that's the thing that people don't understand is one universal God.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Even though you might call him something else, you still believe in a higher power.
That's right.
And
I was on a panel where somebody questioned, well, how do you know that there's a higher? I said, listen, I don't know, but I'm here. There's something greater than myself that made these things, that created life, that created, you know, is it one being or one entity? I don't know. I for me feel there's spirit and I don't want to say gods and everything, but there is something higher than there's groups, there's levels to it.
it is.
You know,
And
so
my answer to that question is how I believe in something that I can't see because I'm here today. And I know that I'm here today by the grace of the Most High God.
that's right.
And those praying ancestors and
Oof.
mamas and daddies in my life who prayed for me
Oh my goodness.
when I was doing wrong. It's sometimes that some things I did, I might not be here today if it wasn't for the Most High God
My.
and my praying mama, my praying aunt,
Your
my
warrior prayer,
praying
your prayer
grandma.
warriors.
That's what got me here.
Listen, my
And that's
grandmother's
why
still
nobody can
praying for me.
question my faith.
That's right. My grandmother's still praying for me in the ancestral world now. Still
And they
making
are
impact.
fighting.
Woo! Come on. Come on. That's why I said in the panel that I was on, this is the war on spirit and consciousness. And it's going to turn into a physical battle and a physical war because you're battling for your sanity. You're battling to keep your consciousness. You're battling to keep your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to get ugly.
It is. It's getting ugly now. People and I guess we all come to terms with things on our own, but it's right in front of our face. If you still sleep after the things that don't been transpiring over the past couple of weeks, you ain't gonna never wake up. I'm sorry to say, but you're not gonna ever wake up.
No, but there's a shift. There's an elevation. This is why there's a battle as well, and there's fresh souls, if you will, that are wakening up, and they're wakening up pretty fast in this collectiveness, and so they want to know now what's going on. So we have to do. This is why I feel, on my platform, I have some responsibility now. If I may not be saying certain things correctly, and I may not get all the information correctly, but being a spiritual being, and my rising is in Aquarius, I have to get this knowledge out, and it's not for me to hold. As my good brother Rich, which I never saw it that way, but he was like, "You're a teacher. You're my big sister, and you're teaching me things." I'm like, nah. You are teaching me as well. But if he's saying that, then I have some responsibility to do my due diligence and be a student, but then come back with the information and now teach it. And so that's what my responsibility is. That's my job title and description. And it's not just doing cards and readings, because I get information and messages that way. But we have to combine that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to combine it because it's all in one. It's not removing spirit and saying, okay, well, it's just spirituality and that's all we're going to work on. No, we're going to combine that with logic, science, reasoning, and that's all we need. The religious construct, you and I can't, we can't be boxed into that. So I will, though I grew up as a Christian, I'm not running around here like bigging up being a Methodist. I'm not for the religious construct.
My mouth wouldn't. My mouth wouldn't, and my personality, it wouldn't allow me to sit in the church. It wouldn't allow me to conform.
Same thing here. I was always getting in trouble. I went to Catholic school for 9 years on top of that. So not only going to church at home, but going to church in the Catholic school as well. And at the age of, I don't know, it was 3rd grade. So that's like 8, 9 years old. Don't you know, these people said, well, if you didn't take your Holy Communion here, and the Holy Communion in Catholic school is 2nd grade. If you didn't do your Holy Communion here, you can't take the Eucharist or the communion. So me and my best friend are looking at each other because she's African Methodist and I'm United Methodist, but we're both Methodists, right? So we're Christian. They ostracized these 2 little girls because we didn't do a Holy Communion here with the Catholic Church. But we just want to get along with the get along gang because we didn't understand that, we thought that was kind of like fun and cool. We're getting up with everybody, we're taking this communion. We don't know what that means, but we knew what it mean in our church. They had us sit down while everybody else got up to take their communion. They do these different things, confirmation. When you're in the 7th grade, you got to do confirmation. Then you take on a saint's name. I'm not taking on a saint's name. My grandmother wanted me to do the confirmation now in the Methodist church as well. And I said, Grandma, I gave the pastor a hard time because I'm questioning him. I'm questioning all this stuff that I'm learning. Mm-hmm. And I told my grandma, I'm not comfortable with doing that. I don't want to do that. So she left me alone. She was pissed off, but she left me alone. I was like, I didn't do it. I never went through it.
And those are the things we look back on now and we realize why we didn't feel comfortable doing those things.
Right. Because it's almost like this enforcing and not feeling free to feel it through. If you get what I mean, like that's why I'm like, I can talk to whoever it is that I need to talk to, straight dialogue. I don't need a middleman. I don't need a pastor, maybe congregation and fellowship, but I have fellowship here. Anyway, I don't need to do that in a building. I go straight to the head and talk to who I need to talk to. So when I hear these doctrinations and indoctrinations and things like that, it's all like, what? It's peanuts. Wah, 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 wah. The teacher. Wah, 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 wah. That does nothing for me. Mm-mm. But if you start telling me about something supernatural where I can feel it in the hairs are raising and stuff, like, oh my, how I did a reading with you and I'm getting goosebumps. That's spirit. That's something higher than just sitting there talking on a podium and preaching off of some book that somebody else wrote.
And that's just like you said, that's the true connection to the Most High God.
Right.
But not everyone knows how to tap into that connection. They think that they can't tap into that connection.
Right.
But you can tap into one of the things that he made. You can worship what he made, but forget that he made everybody, even the enemy.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And the enemy has to go through him.
How about he made what they so call the devil?
Yeah.
I said this to my husband one time, and I said, what if the devil and God are the same? He said, oh my God, that's blasphemy. And my husband's not a religious person at all. I brought religion to him. He said, what? That's blasphemy. I said, why is it blasphemy? If he created everything, then he created the devil. And so therefore he is one and the same. And I don't like when people say, oh, the devil made me do it. No, that's God teaching you a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
You pass it or not, that's how it determines if you got the message or the lesson. You want to blame it on something. Oh, the devil made me do it. The devil, this, that, and the third. No.
You still have free will at the end of the day.
So, it's a lot to it. I do thank my foundation. I thank my grandmother and her parents for instilling that into us, because it did give me a foundation to where I can now freely go above and beyond and still go into the book and search and find some things that are revelation to me and make sense and give me spiritual affirmation. But, for the most part, I'm not about that life. I'm doing something else. That's actually what my great grandmother on my mother's father's side was doing. And I didn't know this. This was all starting Revelation, that she was a spiritualist, that she, her and her daughter were spiritualists. One did spiritual baths. The other one did tea leaf readings. But they still were women of God from Grenada. So we're not sitting here like, oh, we're the true this, that, and the third. But your family was practicing and doing other things. How come is it a woman in the Baptist church can roll around on the floor and she's got the Holy Ghost in her, and y'all are like, yep, yes, she does. But if I do something that sounds like that, you're like, oh, she's pseudo.
Exactly. You can believe that you can be filled with the Holy Spirit and shout in church, but you don't believe that someone could have a connection to God and get messages straight from the divine source.
Right.
Make it make sense. And also, you don't believe in spirits and ancestors around you, but you believe in the Holy Spirit within your body when you shouting. I just need y'all to make it make sense.
Exactly. That's why I had to come up with this conversation today, because it's a lot. And like I said, I was on a couple of other panels, and they're not debunking or disproving if the Black people are Israelites, but they're making it make sense for us, so that you're not just holding on to one conception. You got to embrace all of it. And when you start to know who in genealogy, who you belong to, because in the tribe of Judah, there's 12 of them. So they're all brothers, but there's different backgrounds. So we're all coming from one unit, but we got other backgrounds behind us. So you can't just say I'm this or I'm just that. It's all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? Like I say, I'm up in the solar system. Like we are made of the earth. So when you start taking your mind off of the small little insight and see you outside of this, people will start looking at themselves differently. They'll be really walking around here on some I'm God. Like really on some I know myself.
But a lot of people couldn't handle that power.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
And we see that with everything that's going on, when people get, and not everybody, excuse me, but when people get a little bit of power, they take that and run with it.
Right.
They become bullies and abuse their power. And that's also why they don't want us to know a lot of things, because knowledge is power. And when you know where you come from, you can always tell where you're going.
Okay. That's right. We don't know what's in the future, but we know what happened in the past.
Mhm.
And you can correct that if you can.
And make
So
your
what you said, Lotus, is absolutely true. It's true. So, and that we're going to leave off. Again, I want to say, many blessings to you in your new year, and everything that you've been through, that hoping and praying that the tables turn. I think that when we're reaching this level of enlightenment, or this level of, we're breaking barriers in the spiritual world, there are going to be tests sent to you that could look and feel bad, but it's going to be, on the other side, it'll be brighter on the other side. So, just as I was going to start dropping my thank yous. Here, let me see if I can get you back up here. So just wanted to give you your flowers today and thank you. Just, in closing, guys, I'm just here to make us think, like Dane Calloway says, I'm just here to make you think. Because there's a lot of information out there that we're given. With great knowledge is power. You should not abuse the power that you're bestowed upon and given. Use it wisely. Don't be all egotistic about it. And it's like, I got the juice now. No. You're given a power for a reason. And it's whenever you see superheroes, they're given powers, but it's for humanity. It's not for them. They have to just navigate themselves through it, but it's not for them. And so you have to, when you do get this power in you, use it wisely. Use it wisely. There we go. Yeah, they didn't want us to be great. That's what I say. They don't want us to be great again. But no, what I was what I was saying is that, with us, especially in the spiritual world, you're going to be presented with some things that are going to take you off your square, or at least try to take you off your square. But that's the test, and those are the challenges, so that you can become your greater self. So I hope that, in your upcoming year, things will be, the situation will turn itself around, because I seen it, we saw it together. And that's just challenges that you have to face, that makes you a greater person at the end of the day.
And it does. And it just makes you stronger. And I'll be able to help somebody who may be in the position where I was.
That's right. Because we pay it forward. That's why I said, when we're given when we're given this power or this responsibility, it's not for you. Listen, I went and played that damn lotto that everybody was going after, and I only got $8. I played $10. I got $8 back. So what I'm saying is that it's not meant for, even though we are in this world, we're in what we do, it's not meant for us to have that type of stuff. And so we're going to be the ones struggling the most. We're going to be the ones that have a lot of adversities to us, but that's to make us greater, so that we can now pay it and forward to the collective. And now we're going to spark somebody, whether it be mind, body, or soul. We're going to spark that next person to get on their journey and help them while they're on their journey. So.
And that's what makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely.
For me.
So I'm going to
leave us reach one person.
There you go.
Good.
That's right. That is right. I'm going to leave us with a wisdom oracle to end out our conversation. I hope that it made sense, it's making sense, or it doesn't make sense. You got to look it up. I mean, you should be looking up it anyway. Look up all this information that you're cross-reference is what I'm saying. Cross-reference whatever you're hearing out here, because I'm sure that I had some loopholes in what I was talking about, but like Kanye, who came out and saying what he said and then left it there, and now he's talking about the industry once again. It's like, bro, you didn't talk about you're not talking about the Israelites anymore. Like, come on, we want to hear about that. You opened the Pandora's box to that. We want to hear what this is about. So I want to be responsible enough to, if I'm going to talk about something, try to get some facts in here. And make it make sense for us so that we're just not hearing one side. We're kind of looking at all the moving pieces on the board.
And that's why everyone has to also do their research. But you gave them a piece of information for them to use to go back to, and that's where they can start.
Right. Exactly. That's all. That's all I can do. I don't try to act like I know it all, but shoot, when I get that information, I'm like, let me ping it on somebody. Let me see what's sticking here. And, go into places that they're talking like this. They're really like, nah, if you want to think that Africa stuff, okay. But we got stuff over here. And I'm like, we do. I'm not trying to go over there. And you know what?
I wouldn't survive over there. I can't go over there. I ain't just like we said, I ain't got no land over there.
I don't got no land, I don't got no family members. I don't have the resources. Come on.
And that's no disrespect to anyone who believes different, but I just don't understand how all of us got on those boats and got over here. I don't how we show out now. I can't see if we get 10 people together and they show out. So you mean to tell me 5 people with some whips got millions of people on a boat?
Because that's exactly how they painted the picture.
That's what they told us.
Yep.
That's what y'all told us. That's what y'all taught us.
It's in the building. Exactly. So we're running with that narrative. So now we sound stupid talking about it, but hello, that's what y'all been telling us for years.
Yeah, from what y'all been teaching us, I don't see how that's plausible.
Exactly. So you gotta just remember that there were people already here. All right, there were civilizations thriving. So guys, look into the book, The Road to El Dorado, or anything that has to do with our civilization, our ancestors here in the Americas, the Caribbeans, North America. That's all combined together. Do your homework as well. Don't just take the narrative that, because they're trying to put us back to sleep with this Africa stuff. They got this Hebrews to Negroes or Israelite. I don't know what the book, I don't know what the name of the title is, but he's introducing that, we're not just one thing, we're other things. And I'm like, I get it, but you're directing us back to the continent of Africa.
Well,
and I don't want to
come from Africa.
Right. With all due respect, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what's going on in South America, Brazil, Venezuela. I want to hear what's going on in Cuba, Jamaica, Grenada. I want to hear what's going on in Texas, Kansas, because those are native lands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's native to us. And there's families that are still part of that land that is like, okay, so we should dismiss them and forget about them because we're talking about our ancestors in Africa, or the new Africa rather. Because, if we start doing our homework here, that's right, in Puerto Rico, let's go.
That's why I say that we got to make it make sense.
That's right. We were the Arawaks and the Tainos after that. I know my Caribbean ancestry. That's why, I'm like, all right, all right, that's ancestry, but my native land is here in America. And when Donald Trump said, let's make America great again, he's not talking about what people think he's talking about. Listen, Donald Trump is he's a brilliant idiot as well, because he's very, and back in the days, I want to keep going, but I know we got to go. Back in the days, and when I say back in the days, in the 80s, because y'all know Donald Trump is from New York City, he's from Queens. This man hung out with, Kanye West told y'all this on Drink Champs. Donald Trump used to hang out with the rappers. All the rappers wanted to emulate Donald Trump because they saw him as money, they saw him as being successful, so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump knows who we are. All right. So he wants to bring the businesses back to America. He wants to stop cutting ties with other certain powers, and bringing this back to a superpower country. Because in this country, we have the minerals, we have the resources, we have the agriculture. As I read in the article earlier, we had the potatoes, and the Europeans brought the potatoes over there to them. So we are the milk and honey. And I want to talk more about that. I mean, like I said, in all due respect and no disrespect to, East Asians and Africans and all that good stuff. But I'm from here, and I want to know more about us. Not just what they showed us about cowboys and Indians type stuff. No, I want to know the real history.
Mm-hmm. Instead of the history that y'all try to push on us.
Right.
And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with it being okay to show my children violence that y'all say was done to us on a continuous basis, year after year after year after year. But y'all want our children to believe that they can be more than that. How can you expect them to want to be more than that when that's all they've seen in school for the first 5 years of school where they're being taught? And we know that when our children are in elementary school, and also when we're working parents, that our children spend more time away from home.
That's right.
With teachers than they do with the parent. So teachers are shaping,
that's right,
the things that our children believe, whether we want to believe it or not. Exactly. But they are. So I don't want my children being showed roots for a week straight.
Oh, brother. I love me some roots.
I don't want my children watching it, because that's not their only history. That's just a part of their history. What about the other history, the positive history?
The thriving civilizations that were here before the slave trade. Hello, they just told us that there was gold in what was that? Incas, the Inca empires, the Aztec empires, and the Muisca civilization. That's here. That's just down the Panama Canal. We can get there. We don't even need a passport to get to Mexico. We just go in there. Why? Because that's still part of us. Like my dad and I was like, oh, I gotta get my passport together because it's like I want to travel. And he's like, yeah, but you don't need a passport to go to, certain, well, not the British islands, but, the U.S. islands, Puerto Rico. You don't need that down in South America, or rather Mexico. And I was like, you know what? You don't. I was like, what? Make it make sense.
That's all we can say. Make it make sense, because it's just a big contradiction.
Yep. And they keep spinning us around in circles so that they don't want us to land and focus on what's the real agenda here? What's the real deal? You keep spinning us around east, and I'm like, okay, so now what? I don't know any family members in Ghana. I don't know anybody in Benin, but I know I can trace back people in Jamaica, and this is on my mother's side. So we didn't talk about that. We didn't say that we were slaves. Now, that's why I can't say that I'm a fund FBA or whatever these acronyms are, because I don't have lineage here in America per se, but I'm a Native American. So that's why I'm like, we gotta get to know who we are.
We have to.
It's
So we can
dangerous
teach
out
our
here.
children who they are.
That's right. That's right. So in closing, the card that came out for you guys for the collective, I'm using the Wisdom Oracle, is the Yin, which is feminine energy, all right, and it's the number 2 in reverse. So, and then we got chopped wood here in reverse. Oh, that male, that stick. Remember, I was just saying earlier, guys, that this matriarch is coming through and ushering in and getting rid of the patriarch society, the patriarch system. So, and I love that Raz Girl said, what is that looking like? That's matriarch as far as mother, the discipliner, the wisdom, the wise counsel, the nurturing, the mother instincts. That's who's coming back in to right this, whatever is going on out here. We need the woman's direction. We need the woman's counseling. We've been listening to the male figures for too long, and all they've gotten us into is war. Battling each other and fighting for power. Women are not natural. We're not instinctual that way. We don't fight for power. We fight for justice. We fight for the equality of things. When our children are fighting, we wake them up. Let's go. Stop that. You don't hit your brother. You don't hit your sister. That's the matriarch coming back. And some people are going to have a hard time with that, especially the men who are in position, the men who are very much so this alpha. You're gonna get slapped down by Big Mama. So this yin here, it's in reverse. Because we're going through this revelation, and we don't have the completion. We don't have the yin and the yang, or the yin and the yang rather. So the feminine missing the masculine. We need the masculine and feminine back together, right? But it's not just a sexual thing. It's masculine and feminine within you. When I do my readings, you know this. I say this to you guys. We both have masculine and feminine energy in us. But collectively, the feminine energy is going to be coming through and ushering in this. Listen, we're not playing those games anymore. Big Mama's coming to speak. And when Big Mama comes to speak, you shut up. You shut your mouth as a child and you don't say anything. You listen to what she's telling you, because she's going to guide us in this different way, in a nurturing way. It's going to feel a little different. We're going to have some heart in here. The patriarch's not running with the heart. The patriarch's running with the head in this logic, and that's great, and we need that, but we need both. So while this is in reverse, this is all innate in us. So some of us need to tap more into our feminine energy right now. Okay. So, and if you don't know what that is, just letting your emotions go. We just came off of a blood moon, lunar eclipse last week. So a lot of sacrifices was happening. A lot of blood was being shed. Women bleed with the moon cycle and so forth and so on. It's all symbolic. So each one of us, male and female, need to tap into our feminine energy and go with the flow, almost like being a Scorpio and being a Cancer or a Pisces, that water element, where you're kind of just going through these motions, but recognizing them, acknowledging them, and letting them go, not holding on to it. That's the feminine energy. We'll shed some tears. We'll deal with our emotions, and then we'll let it go. We're not going to hold on to it. So that's what I have for you guys. Raz Girl is back, but I'm gonna end the live because we're over now 3 hours. And again, I just want to take time to appreciate and give flowers, virtual flowers, hugs, and kisses to my Lotus. Celebrating her solar return today, but it wasn't today, it was over the weekend. But we want to acknowledge her and give her plenty of thanks and praise, because she comes into the chat and she blesses us with beautiful affirmations and beautiful words that are uplifting, and they feel good. You feel it when she says it. You can leave the chat feeling a little at ease, if you will. So thank you to everybody who came through. Lotus, do you have any last parting words with us?
I would like to thank each and every one of y'all, Big Sis Foxy and everybody, for all the love and support that y'all have showed me on this journey. I love and appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I send prayers of protection, love, light, healing, and blessings over all areas of everyone's life, from the tops of their head to the bottom of their feet, to every minute cell of your bodies, in the name of the Most High God.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love y'all.
We love you too. Thank you, my Lotus. So I'm gonna have you drop down, and just remind that my calendar is open for personal readings now. So it's Foxy Moon, www.foxymoon.spiritualalchemist.com. You guys can go ahead and book a reading. I think I only have like 3 services now. It's like the Oracle, 1-card Oracle, romance, and the 5-card spread, because we want to know about romance. But in the 5-card spread, that just talks about everything, health, whatever comes through, whatever I'm being spiritually guided to give the message and let you know. Also, the prices might have changed a little bit. I've taken out some things, so I don't have the past life ancestral reading anymore. But that's not to say that I won't do it. If you if you send a direct message to my Instagram, which I'll put up here, you can let me know, if you're interested in doing the past life. But, I'll make exceptions to the rules. Let me put my IG information up here really quickly. All right. And you can DM me there if you have any questions, or if you're having an issue with getting onto the website, because I was playing around with it last week and fixing it and revamping it and stuff like that. And I don't know if I did all of the right things on there. So there might be a little wonky. If it is, please send an email, a DM to my Instagram. Let me post that up. I didn't post that up. Send a message to my Instagram letting me know that you like a book or reading. And then I have to look in the calendar, because I only have like 2 days that I have specific time frames, and 2 days set aside to do personal readings. What else? Wednesday, I will be back to do a midweek check-in, and that's where we'll do the readings there. If you are interested in getting a mini reading, then you can on the spot. But if you're not, that's fine. If you don't want to book a personal reading and you just want to get a little mini reading, Wednesday is the time you can do it. What else? And that's it. I mean, it's a very fair game. I changed the prices a little bit, but they're all still under $45. The Oracle is, $5 now. It was $11. It's now $5.55. So we changed that up a little bit. What else? So yeah, that's it. So again, hit me up on IG if you have any questions or if you're interested in getting a reading. And thank you. Yes, and Purple Moon, my Miss Sharon. And that's it, guys. Peace out. Catch you on the flip side. And I love you all. Thank you so much.